All right, everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. You know, I can honestly say the reason why we've named it I Disagree is because it's two words I believe that have not only changed my life, but we all wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't say I disagree. So here's basically what we stand for. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. Here we go. You guys ready for the first one? Hey, and we are live. My name is Dr. Patrick Flynn, and I did that on purpose because Dana always says that her friends... See that, right? I did it right away. I've been gone for some weeks, and it's nice to be back. It's nice to have our wonderful co-host, the one and only Dana. Now I'm used to calling you Larry now instead of Lorenzo and stuff like that. So it's like
it was
pretty
Travenzo
awesome.
last week.
And we miss our other wonderful co-host, Travis, and I just want to tell you guys before we get started on the whole thing, you guys, in all seriousness, I get to travel over the world and to speak. I spoke at a massive company that's worth $400 million when I was in LA, different things, and I get to speak at major seminars, get to speak to a lot of people that way, and watching the podcasts, and there's nothing greater than when you leave our amazing company and watch you guys just take over and do stuff. You guys were amazing. I'm not joking. Your chemistry is fantastic. Your conversations were amazing. You and Travis and guys just did a wonderful job. And I loved how the crowd interacted with you guys. And you guys really came up with some great points. And I just want to tell you, I'm so proud of you guys for what happened being gone. And, you know, it's like, because, you know, it's really funny being here. It's like my baby. You know, I've been here for 25 years. You understand? So to that, so I just want to say thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. And that being said, I want to thank our wonderful guests that are going to do here. It's back being great here. And, you know, the whole podcast in general, you know, it's based on the term I disagree. It's one of my major seminars I do because I think there's so many topics that we talk about on disagreement. So I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited to be back. Like Dana said, how much pent-up energy do you have? I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go, and stuff like that. But nicely, the pent-up energy isn't against anybody. It's just like
She's just going to have a lot to say.
You have a lot to say. Yourself. So it's kind of nice. But so here we're going to do is this, and we're going to set the ground rules for everything that way. We're going to first get introduced, and obviously, you guys know I'm a co-host, but I always like them to introduce, and I purposely did this for Dana for the first time, saying my name right away because she's like, hey, my friends still want to know who you are.
Yeah, not everybody knows who you are.
Yes.
You're not that famous.
Yes. I never tried to be. Just because I have millions of people that watch me from all over the world all the time, you know what I'm saying? So, no, it's got nice. But
I have videos with millions of views, too. So
that is a good point. Yes, but I'm over 1 billion. I'm over a couple billion now. And so that's kind of fun. So it's like competition.
You win for today.
Competition, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to go around. I want the guests to introduce themselves and tell us, you know, who you are, you know, married, single, job, something unique about yourself. And nice thing about the I Disagree podcast, you're allowed to say anything here. You really are. You could be. I'm hoping that as we have certain topics that we have a great discussion from agreement to disagreement that way. We're gonna go and then we're start with, and then we'll come around and Mara will end with you that way, and then we're gonna get into the basis of the whole discussion tonight. But introduce yourself and share a little about yourself.
All right. So I'm Matt Schmidt, and I am a Deep Pure native, but kind of went all over the place, and then there's no place like home, so ended up finding my way back here and have a broad range of experiences. Was in school for a big chunk of time, so 11 years of college.
Oh, very nice.
I was working in like drug development, and I don't know, life had other plans. Now I do like healing work with people, and it's just been amazing. And I think we're just beginning to like scratch the surface of like what we're capable of, what the body can do, and never thought in a million years I'd be where I am today, but it's been pretty amazing. So I have a partner, and we've been having a great relationship, and don't plan on getting married.
Nice.
It's just great. So why screw it up?
Yep.
Right.
That's a unique thing. There we go. That was a unique thing. Yeah. Great relationship. Why screw it up? Okay. Love it.
I have a beautiful 10-year-old daughter.
Oh,
that
awesome.
Teaches me every day.
Awesome.
I don't know. Just loving life.
Awesome, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. It's awesome.
I am Lorenzo Tomas from Random Radio. Random Radio, Random Things You Need to Know is a show on Facebook, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Gab, Minds. You can face fuck yourself if you would like to with the show. You can go to the TikTok. We did the TikTok thing.
Yep.
So somebody did a TikTok for me, and I appreciate you doing that. No, not Dana. No. She wouldn't do it for me.
You didn't ask.
She won't wash dishes. She won't do this for me. Damn it.
Yeah,
so either way,
wash dishes. Must be a fun show tonight.
Either way, so you guys go catch that. That's it, all over the place. New episode is up now, talking about Caitlin Clark. There you go.
And before we go farther, thank you for always texting me, the new stuff that comes up that way.
Oh, yeah.
I very enjoy it.
Oh.
It's not a joke. That's why I said, and it's kind of funny. I will tell you this: if you know something about me, one thing that I can say why I've been able to be successful, let's say, in the world that way, is I think my God-given gift is recognizing talent. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to recognize it. It's very easy to recognize your talent. Remember, you came here thing. I asked her, I'm like, Lorenzo's got to be with us.
Yep.
And I would tell you, podcast. So I encourage everybody, and like I said, if you guys have any business or any podcasts or things that you do or host that way, please share it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I believe this is my own principle. This is not a agree or disagree one, but I think success breeds more success. You know what I'm saying? And so I just believe the massive abundance, and I believe that if someone's successful, they can share more success with other people that way. So if you got a podcast or business things that you want to promote, you're more welcome to promote it here and stuff like that. But your podcast is great.
I just appreciate you answering my calls when I call you, because Dana tells me that she calls you and she can't get you, and I'm like, oh man, that lets me know.
That's because he was gone.
That lets me know he was gone. I called him while he was gone. He answered all the time. I think we talked for like 3 hours one day. He was like, I'm on the golf course, but I got time to talk. I schooled him on everything. It was Black History Month education.
Just like you did to me that day for like 3 hours.
It's like a guy that says he lasts 15 minutes and it's really 2. You're saying?
Yeah.
3 hours.
That's why you do it doggy style, because it makes it seem like your 2 minutes last 14.
That's right. That's a good analogy. It's good. That's good math right there.
I know. I got a reel coming out about that.
Look at Matt. I love Matt's face right there.
He's just
That
like,
was
wait,
fantastic. He's like,
I know. It's a good one because it just takes you like a hot second to figure it out.
Accurate.
Yeah, I know. It's really good.
Dana.
My name is Dana. I am 35. I'm married with 2 kids. I went to school for accounting, and I was a CPA for 10 years. I worked on taxes, and then I decided that was no longer for me. And given my passion for natural health, I decided to become a clinical nutritionist instead, and left the CPA career a few years ago in order to do that. And because of everything that I've done with that and everything that I've learned through it and everything, I now come and co-host this podcast. And I also have a social media account called Dana Disagrees, where I basically just like support the patriarchy and men and try to build strong men, because that's what we need in our culture for it to really survive. And I also am in the process of, it's like in editing, we're getting really, really close to the end of manuals that I've written about what it means to be masculine and what it means to be feminine and why all of that's important.
And nice thing about that, because, obviously we sat down, you went through the material's fantastic. I can't wait till it goes out. It'll be a wonderful workbook, great advice for people just to succeed in those areas. So I'm looking forward for that coming out and stuff. So, Mario.
My name is Mario Nana. I'm a Green Bay resident, have been for most of my life, 44 years old, married to my wife Sarah, have 2 children, a 15-year-old daughter Audrey and an 11-year-old son Parker. I spend most of my weekends in a gym chasing them around for sports.
Yep.
I am in the exciting world of mortgage lending.
Yeah.
I've been for 20 plus years.
Okay.
So it's been a wild ride the last few.
Like being a CPA, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's great.
I wasn't this gray a couple years ago, but definitely great now. So something fun and interesting about myself is in my free time I like to do professional walleye fishing.
Really?
Oh.
Very nice. Well, what's the best area around here?
That'd be a secret. I can't really tell.
I knew that was coming. I knew I was going to share secrets and stuff like that.
It'll cost you.
Mario, thanks for being here. Can I ask how many years you've been married?
It'll be 20 this year in August.
Very nice. Very nice. August what?
August 21st.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's my sister's birthday. Mine's the 15th. My mother's is the 27th, so it's kind of fun. So it's like great month and stuff like that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Obviously, thank you for being here and being our wonderful co-host. Now remember, the podcast and stuff, I always tell people, in the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. See, in the purpose of this podcast, it correlates a different perspective on, we talk about health, obviously, our fields and stuff like that. Men and women correlates so well with it. Politics and religion. And I can honestly tell you, great episode when you guys talked about Black History Month last week and some of that. It was great. And because, it's really funny. And I've always said this, people always want peace. Well, you can't have peace while sitting down and having conversations that might not go well. You understand? It's better to have a conversation across the table than truly get into a fight. You understand? And so I love that you guys had a wonderful conversation about that way. Like I said, if you haven't seen the episode, go back and stuff because we're live right now. But last week's episode.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Apologize.
It was Black History Month.
Yeah. But definitely do that. So,
And women shouldn't drive.
and, do that one.
Just go check it out.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so the 2 topics that way. Black issues about the women shouldn't drive and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's going to be fantastic to go through it. So now, let me set the rules down here. Is I always tell people, is I want, whenever we talk about certain points, sometimes the reason why people get so upset during specific points that they disagree with is because they want to argue the exceptions, not the rule. Okay? And because the majority of rules apply to everybody. And I always give this example, and this is my personal opinion, and that's why I believe that most things are opinion anyways. But I have an opinion is I'm just more pro-life. That's just me. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they go right to the exception. They say, well, what about incest? Okay, it's a very small fraction of people does. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but can we just say the majority, which statistically is just basically birth control? So if we can kind of get on that rule first, and then we talk about the exceptions later. And it doesn't mean that the exceptions don't have a point or even can give you a different viewpoint on, because maybe the general rule is this, but there are exceptions. But don't argue the exceptions like they're the rules. So if we're arguing exceptions like they're the rules, I'm going to bring you back and say, hey, listen, agree with you 100%, don't disagree with that exception, but the general rule for everybody. And especially when you get to men and women, especially when you get to men and women in business, then it's like they always throw the exceptions out, not the rules that way. For example, by nature, let's just talk about this. By nature, let me ask you a question. When it comes to masculine and feminine, who's actually more competitive? By the general rule, men or women? Who's more competitive?
Men.
Yeah, by far. And so it's more of a characteristic and stuff like that. It doesn't mean no. And I, in business, employ a lot of great competitive women. But by nature, it's more a masculine trait. But it's funny because culture now, because let's say it's a job and you're a man and woman's competed for it. If you would talk to a guy and talk to a woman, treat them the same way as a competitor, they would think you're disgusted speaking to a woman that way. I'm like, why? We're in an environment of competition. And when it comes to the business of that, all rules and things exist. You are, to us in a competitive world, asexual and stuff. But that being said, we'll talk more, make sure about the rules that way. So, and how it's going to work is I have 2 statements. Now the statements, and once again, for you guys, wonderful job for all you public that watch that way, because we get a lot of feedback and we get a lot of things. If you do have a statement that you want us to say, even give us your name, and we've done it on the show that before, that we'll actually say, hey, listen, this person came in with this statement. Do you agree or disagree? And what we're going to do is this, though. I'm going to make some statements today, and then we're going to start, Matt, with you. Go around to Lorenzo, Dana, Mario, end with you that way. And then at the end, I'm going to give this is my statement, so I don't have to disagree with it or agree with it. But the idea is this, and then we're going to come back and discuss it. But I want to hear I disagree or I agree first, and then we're going to come back around. And what we'll do is when we come back around, I'll talk about Matt, talk about Mario, and then we'll obviously let Dana and Lorenzo give their opinion and agree or disagree why they did. And then we'll have a great discussion about it. And if you do guys have something you want to say, just do me a favor, give me a little thumbs up. And if you do get quiet, I will ask you. So I expect everybody to be kind of vocal. As Dana says, I might be a little chatty today because I've missed you guys so much, and I'm going to chat with you.
You've already been chatty.
I'm setting the basis.
I know.
I'm foundationally basis here. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to zip my lip on this one once we do it here. So here's my statement. I will repeat it twice because I want you guys to think about it. Here we go. The love of money is not the root of all evil. Let me say it again. The love of money is not the root to all evil. Now, first round in the room, Matt, Mario, Dana, Lorenzo, just give me an agree or I disagree. And then I will give you a chance to explain your agreement or disagreement on there. So, Matt, what you got for me?
Agree to not be the root of all evil.
Okay.
I think it runs deeper than that.
Oh, wait, no.
Wait.
First,
No,
just agree or disagree.
Sure.
Which one you got?
Agree.
Agree.
I also agree.
I agree.
I agree.
All right.
I didn't know if you were going to disagree for
Unanimous.
fun because I just never know with you.
Now, and
Sometimes Lorenzo just disagrees for fun.
yes, which is always fun. And on top of it,
It's okay, we're
I want you guys to
disagreeing
do,
with
and
a
this
lot
is the
of
great thing
people.
about it, is I want you guys to give me, in-depth analysis of why, some explanation, things like that. Because one thing I've learned on the podcast itself, and be with people for 25 years in business that way, is sometimes you can agree, but actually agree for totally different reasons. Or sometimes you disagree, and some of you guys can agree on some points and disagree on other, but you still have a commonality that way. So, Matt, give us why you agree.
So I agree. First of all, because it's an all statement, easy to agree that it's not.
Yep.
But primarily because I see money as just energy, and it's not inherently evil or good. So it only has the value that we give it. I think it's your intention behind it that would drive it to be evil. So that being said, I think it could be for some people, but the majority of the cases, like you said, would not fall under that. I think that it's kind of the reason why you want money. And if you want money just for the sake of collecting money, okay, well that leaves this empty hole, and can lead you down towards this path of loneliness, or what some people would term as evil, when you're just solely focused on that. But I don't think inherently money's bad at all.
Excellent. And now remember, if I do have some, you guys to see me and Dana and everybody taking notes that way, because it creates for great dialogue. I might ask you a couple more things that somebody say that. But Mario, what do you got for me?
I don't think money's the root of evil. Money's a different motivator for a lot of different people. Obviously, it can have its issues and problems. When you don't have money, you got a problem, right? You got bills and things like that you have to pay. When you have a lot of money, a lot of times you're viewed differently by others. You can lose friendships. But money can really help you buy time. You can buy yourself time with money. Nobody's sitting on their deathbed saying, boy, I wish I had more money. They're always talking about, I wish I had more time. So as a motivator, I think money can actually help you spend more time doing the things and making the memories and creating the long-lasting things that you want in your life. Your impact, what you give back to others, what you do for society. So I don't think it's a root of evil.
Miss Dana.
Okay. To kind of reiterate a little bit of what you said too, so first of all, money it's morally neutral, right? It is what you do with it that makes it good or bad. So first of all. Second of all, okay, people can love a lot of things, right? And money is one of those things. And anything can become like your god or your idol, right? And money's obviously a big one. Everybody, kind of knows that, but anything can become that for you. And so I think that, okay, if you value money above like literally anything else, like you probably will have some problems. Like if you are chasing wealth just to chase wealth, then you probably are going to have problems because your intention isn't quite right. But if you are chasing wealth in order to be rich in good works and to be generous and to be ready to share and all of those things, then your intentions are right. Like wealthy people, largely what they do is use money as a tool in order to provide value and fulfillment to other people's lives. That's pretty much what's going on, like all the time. Third of all, I'm going to touch on a little bit of the Christian perspective, and I know you're going to shit on them a lot, so I'll let you do most of that. I will let you do most of that.
I'm staying quiet tonight.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You don't even know how to do that, so no, you are not. But nobody else has mentioned, so I'm going to say what I want to say about it, and then you can tear everyone a new one. I think on the Christian side of things, I think there has been a little bit of an illogical leap that has been made sometimes with some people, right? Because when you read the Bible, you see that Jesus cared about the poor. And yes, absolutely. But I think sometimes that gets misconstrued as maybe he cares more about the poor, or that like we're supposed to be poor. And that is absolutely not true at all. It is not morally superior to be poor. There is no medal for not reaching your full potential. It's probably actually just laziness, is what I'm guessing. And I believe that we have all been given unique talents and gifts, and it is our job to capitalize on those gifts, meaning like we use them to make a living and we try to better humanity with them. And if we don't do that, we're actually like in violation with our agreement of God for giving us those gifts in the first place. And you can even go down you can't serve two masters thing. And like, okay, fine, like you can't, and money shouldn't be your master, but like it should be your servant. You should be putting it to work for you. And the other thing that I want to really convey to people is that rich people are not greedy or evil because they want more or because they keep doing more after they already have enough. Because like what is enough? What does that even mean? That whole thought process doesn't even resonate with me. Because when would you ever have enough, and why would you ever stop? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because real winners never have enough, and real winners never stop. So I don't even like really understand that. There's nothing wrong with being grateful for everything that you have and then still going after and still chasing more. That's actually how we should all live. So love money, don't love money, love whatever thing it is or don't. Just be careful what you're worshiping, and above all, what's your intention behind what you're doing.
Love it, Dean. Lorenzo.
Yeah. So I think it all goes back to what you guys were saying about intentions. I think intentions are the root of evil, not so much money, because money is, like you said, it's an inanimate object. It exists. That's like saying that a car is evil, right? No, the person driving the car and their intentions behind the car is what's evil. Money can't be evil. It doesn't wake up in the morning and then tell you what to do. You know, it's not like like people say drugs are evil. Well, drugs can be used for negative purposes, but that doesn't make those drugs are evil. So I think it all comes down to intentions, 100%. And since you all were talking about Christians, right, I'll just go to a different religion. I'm not going to say what the religion is. I'll just go to a different religion. And I will say that in that particular religion, in their schools, they teach a version of ethics that says a lot about money and wealth, and how money and wealth are not evil. There's nothing evil about money and wealth. It's the ethical practice or the ethical or non-ethical things you do with money that makes you, the person, evil. But once again, the inanimate object itself cannot be evil because money is created by man. So the only thing that could be evil is man's intentions with money, or what he chooses to spend that money on could be evil, but money itself can't be evil.
So I want to reverse engineer your question based on some of the things we talked about, regardless of anybody's faith. But we know, of course, it's Christians have, like I say, a lot of catchphrases. Saying money's root of all evil. Well, I got a question for you guys then, and I obviously know you guys' stance on faith. Do you have any stance on faith? Christianity, anything like that, or
Yeah.
what about you, Matt?
I don't know what I think. I'm in the gray area.
Yeah, cool. But
All gray
here's
area.
what happens this, because the minute that and let's say that you did end up at a church, you start talking about money, you should see how it makes them so uncomfortable. So I got a question for you guys. And even if you're not part of a organized religion or things like that, why does the Christian community say and act like it's bad? Mario, what you got? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know, because I don't practice. I don't attend church.
Yeah.
I never did. My family never really did growing up. My mother-in-law is, practices. They don't miss a service. And it's always got me over the years that, I had to go through marriage counseling to get married in a Catholic church, and I had to do all this stuff. And they always talk about how much money you're going to give, how much you're going to give of your salary, how much you're going to give. And if money is evil, then why are you asking me to give it?
Right.
I guess I don't have an answer for why they do that.
Yeah, it's just kind of
got to fund it somehow.
I'm happy that you recognize that having have to go through the services to become married to your wife that way. That look at how it comes up. Yet the minute that you talk about finances that way, a Christian person right away, the minute you talk about money, they always talk about being root of all evil. Matt, what you got for us?
That's kind of how I grew up. I grew up like Lutheran,
Yep.
and that's kind of like ingrained in you. So
Yep.
I just went through this financial shadow work course, ironically enough, and all these things came up. I'm like, that's still there. I don't even think that. But like in the back is like, money's bad. Oh, you can't have money and do this, and like, but yet at the same time, the church doesn't function without money. So you're like, it's this tug of war of stuff. Like, well, you have to give it to us, but you can't have money because that's bad.
Yep.
And I can see where like, if left unchecked, and if you didn't have a set of like morals and stuff, of course, anything you have in excess. I mean, you watch people that win the lottery, like their life turns to shit because they can't hang on to that. They're not kind of the vibration of that where they're using it for something good.
Yep.
Like a person that's like Dana said, if you're using that to like carry out your mission, carry out your purpose, awesome. Like you're just kind of reframing that, and you're just saying, I can help more people if I have more abundance, more wealth. And in that term, it's not bad, but there's kind of like this dichotomy of what is preached, and then but also give us money and give us a chunk of it, but don't have a lot of it.
Dana?
Well, everything always just comes back to control, like regardless really of what we're talking about. Because if you can keep people poor, I mean, this is whether you want to talk about a church or whether you want to talk about government and school and whatever. Everything always comes back to control, because if you can keep people poor and sick and unhealthy, they're very, very easy to control and manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
Survival
control.
mode.
Yeah. It's always just control.
It's a good point. If you think of it this way, and I'm just going to run to the point that you brought up, but when we think about this, is you're right. If you keep people in poverty, you have an element to control them because they have to go to the trough to get food. They have to, it's like, and I always said this. I said, I think rich people are the people that really came up with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, it's like, because then what happens is, money's root of all evil. Really? Or money doesn't bring happiness. Then I always said, then you don't know where to shop. Do you understand? It's really quite funny on there going, man, I don't know. I was in Hawaii, brought a lot of happiness. You know what I'm saying? And you get my point?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, if you go, here, let's do this.
Lemon.
It's much cheaper to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin than it is to Maui in Hawaii. Okay?
Right.
The Packer Stadium maybe can bring some people some joy, but those oceans and coconut trees and stuff like that, palm trees, everything are too much. So let's go back to the thing. Let's finish up with this one here. Why do you think the Christian community says so bad then?
So it's a history lesson, right? So it's a history lesson. It's time for a history lesson. Right?
That's why we get along. Love history.
So it's time for a history lesson. So, of course, with the Reformation movement of the Christian church, starting with John Wycliffe, one of the issues is the Catholic Church taking indulgences, and these indulgences sometimes were money. And so they would forgive you for a sin if you gave the Catholic priest some money, or if today he said, well, let me screw your wife, or if he said, that's a cute 14-year-old, let me have her. And so it was like, okay, well, John Wycliffe is a person who is a Christian but doesn't want to be a part of the Catholic Church. So he's like, this doesn't make sense. And so this idea through Lutheranism and then Reformationism and then Protestantism, which is what America is, a Protestant nation, this idea of poverty is what Jesus was, rich is what the priests are, and rich is evil. Rich is what the Pharisees were in the Bible. The rich people were who Jesus turned over the tables for in the synagogue. That's what this represents. But these people are religiously pious, very conservative. This is how you get your Puritans, and they come over here with that idea. That idea gets spread throughout America through Methodism, through baptism, and then of course it becomes, like you all said, it becomes about, well, now we're all ingrained with the belief that this is what the religion is about. Then you get Woodrow Wilson, who is claiming to fight for the common poor man, right? And so now poverty seems like it's something that we all are, right? We all are this. So we're all in this together as a nation. And so that's how he was able to get us to go into World War I after telling us that he was not going to put us in World War I. Then as soon as he got reelected, he said, oh, I forgot about those promises I made. Now you motherfuckers got to go to World War I.
Think I no politician forgets their promises today.
So and so this is how you get this idea. And then it becomes reinstilled by the church, because the church, like you said, the church needs money to function. So they continue to tell the people, oh, you shouldn't have money. Just give your money to the church. God will bless you. God will bless you. So this idea is just reiterated. But of course, and I'm going to have to go to the black church, I have never seen more people who will tell you to give your money up. And they got rings and Rolls Royces and coming in with fat gold chains. And they taking trips to Maui with this guy. I mean, they are all over the place. And then they want to tell you about, no. Don't you give your money. Or what is the worst is when they claim that they're taking the money for the community. And then you got Sister Gladys sitting in the front row, and she got cancer, right? And she's like, man, I done told the whole congregation I got cancer. And they like, oh, we gonna pray for you, Sister Gladys. Right. Why can't this guy sell one of them fucking rings or that one of them Rolls Royces and help me with I've been here 50 years. I was here when you was a little boy. Now I can't get no money. That is disgusting. But like you said, it is the church wants to, I believe it is manipulation and control. The church over time has utilized the history that I just told you to the advantage of themselves, to enrich themselves at the same time while controlling their parishioners and telling them, you need to remain in poverty. Let me be rich because God wants me to have this money.
So I'm going to spin on one more question there, and then I got a couple things I want to say that way. Does money bring happiness? Matt?
Money can be a route for happiness, but just having a pile of money. Yeah.
Mario?
Yeah, I agree entirely. So money's just a piece of paper or whatever you determine it to be, a coin. That doesn't create happiness.
Dana?
Gives you a whole lot of options for anything that you want, which ultimately can make you happy in the long run. But the biggest thing it can give you is options. And whoever said it before, it does help you buy some time too. I mean, well, we can get into whether time is real or not and how we expand and bend time. But yeah, right. I bet he would go on that with me.
Don't get me started.
I'm okay with going on, so go on.
throw
You
that in
guys
there.
discuss.
But
Don't
But-
quantum leap us.
Nope.
Don't quantum leap us.
I too like energy, just so you know. I don't know. Now I lost my train of thought.
Does my happiness.
But the time thing. Everybody, yeah, whatever. There's 24 hours in a day, but you can spend money to free up a lot of your time, and that's one thing money allows you to do, and that can also bring happiness.
I think money does bring you happiness because it brings you all those things you all just said. And that once you all have all those options and the route to happiness, yes, you will be happy. You will eventually be happy.
Yep.
And I have to push back on something that you just said, sir. You said no one is happy with the pile of money. You obviously didn't watch DuckTales.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck was very happy with his pile of money and coins. He swam in it.
So I'm in it. Yeah.
So
Yep. It just brought me back to my childhood right there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna say a little more directly on there. Oh, Matt, you got something first?
Yeah, having a pile of money, if you're like at your end of your life and you're like, shit, this is all I have. You just have like, you've been filling that void. Same thing with like the time aspect. Okay, it can buy you time, but if you're like chasing money to like get that time and then you're like, well, crap, I'm out of time.
And then you just piss it away.
Yeah. You just end up with, at the end, like, crap, how'd I get here? But you're too balls deep in it to realize it, so. Yeah.
Well, I also think that money makes others happy, right? It makes other people happy
Yeah.
too, right? So then you get money, you leave it to other people, and then they'll be happy. Or you get money, people see you with money. Some people are happy for you, some may not be.
A lot are not.
Well, I don't know. I
People,
think
people,
it
they are
depends-
no.
I
The
think it
people are
depends
not
on
cheering you
status.
along until you're actually successful. They
I think
shit
it
on
depends
you.
on status. If you are at a certain status, then they are happy for you. People are
Yes.
happy that Shaquille
Yes.
O'Neal has money.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
People are happy that Shaq has money. They're not happy that R. Kelly had money or Diddy has money. But they once were happy that R. Kelly and Diddy had money. So,
There's that.
yeah.
And you thought I was gonna be talking too much.
Traveling all over, like coming back to like this country from like a third world country and be like, why are we so freaking miserable? Like we have all these things that like people would be thrilled to have there. And like I just came from a place that they were like happier than shit to have nothing, you know? And then like what are we missing here in our society? I think it's like a cultural thing that
We're
got too
we're
much.
too cush. We're
Yo,
too
it's
cush
the age
here.
of decadence. It's the age of decadence. It happens throughout time. It happened in Rome, Spain, Greece. You get to a point where the people have so much that now they have to create their own problems, right? We have it so well, we're going to create problems. So now issues that are not really issues are major issues, and the things that really are important are no longer important, right? Family's not important, community's not important, taking care of your loved ones is not important. But what is important is that I make sure that I say or that someone feels like they are hearing the right pronouns, or that as a black man, I need to look for racism everywhere. That's important, right? But it's not important because I'm happy. And I'll say this. I remember when I was a demon rat, I was very much so upset, always looking for racism, always hearing that this is what it means to be black. You always got to look for you got to have it hard. I became a lot happier once I accepted racism exists and it only affects me if I allow it to affect me. I became a lot happier because then racism didn't bother me. It didn't matter if somebody was white. If a white man came up to me and said, "You are a nigger, I don't like you," it's like, well, thank you very much. You walk yourself on that side of the street. I'm going to stay on this one. If you come back over here, the fight is on.
That's
All
right.
we're good.
Yeah.
Now we know what
It's
we're
on.
saying.
Yep.
But it's a whole lot better that way. But we live in a society where we're creating problems, right? We're making issues for society so that they can have something to be upset about. Because people do have it good. You think about the people who live in poverty here versus India or a place, Rwanda, or maybe
Even Cuba.
Cuba, right? And so those people are literally poor, right? Man, we could even take areas in the South still today where people are like poor. People are in poverty in like Chicago are like, I got a big screen
people
TV.
in poverty, they have they have one of these.
I got one of
If you have one of
these.
these, you don't
Obama
have
gave me
problems.
one of these. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, they got it too good. So everything's a problem. This conversation's a problem. Your jacket is a problem. I'm offended. Oh my God, it hurt my feelings. Everything. He's a problem. Oh my God, that's a problem.
Yep.
So I want to
Here's some money.
capitalize it. Yeah, sorry. Here's your file. Now he's happy. He's not mad anymore.
You're fixed.
Yes.
You're good.
So Matt, you talked about intentions and stuff of that, and I think so. I have a couple of things I always talk about this way, and that's why when I do talk to the Christian community and being a person of faith that way, anytime you hit a certain level of success, it makes people uncomfortable because I think that most people, the majority of the time, they will always. A lot of people will cheer for you till you surpass them.
That too. That too.
They will. They'll cheer you to
100%.
surpass them. And see, it's like, now, second of all, so therefore, and we talk about intentionality that way, I believe money's more of an amplifier. And we've seen this. This is where we sometimes get that money is actually bad or evil this way. And this is my take on it that way, is you can see a person, and you kind of brought up a little bit too, is who they are inside is amplified by money, power, and influence. It really is. Because, I tell people this, is if you're a dick and you get money, you're just a bigger dick. Mm-hmm. If you're generous and you get money, you're extremely generous. And I will tell you this, and this will make a lot of Christian community uncomfortable when I talk about this, because I always find this funny, and I pick on them a lot, even though I am a person of faith that way. I pick on people a lot that way because here's this. You ever talk about something that you're good at, that God gives you with this? Immediately their catchphrase is, you're not humble. Wait, God gave me the gift. I'm just, you can see it, and we're talking about it that way, so how am I not humble? Something he gave me, okay? On the flip side, we talk about this. As a person becomes more successful and they're generous, if you think this way, people say, well, money doesn't bring happiness. I'm like, that means you've never made enough to give it away. You understand? Think about that. Because I guarantee if every one of you guys were able to help somebody or give something from your own, we talk about abundance and energy and stuff like that, talk about giving it to somebody that just is in need, I'm sorry, that brings great happiness. Every one of you guys love to be a giver, just by nature of being a human that way. We want to help, okay? So therefore, like I said, it's like, that's why when people are like, I love this. It's like Bill Gates, take it this way. What is Bill Gates? He was a nerd, and now he's just a fucking rich nerd. But he's still a fucking nerd. Mm-hmm. You saying? It's like, but once again, it does, like you said, and let's go back to your point. But let's go to Mario here. You talk about being a motivator, which is 100% true. And the one thing that I really get frustrated when people try to downplay money, I suspect, and I can tell us that you have a form of capitalism inside you. Do you understand?
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. See, and I can tell we can be friends on this really easy, because I guarantee that you work really hard to provide value in your service. Would you agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Exactly. And being a wonderful businessman. So then therefore, is the minute that you offer and do a good job for somebody, they're going to shake your hand, and what are they going to say to you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly. So therefore, it's actually because now you gave them value. On the flip side, guess what happens this? In a capitalistic and compared to a communist, we talk about communist and capitalism that way. The capitalist now comes back and now he says, hey, thank you. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to exchange that value back, and it's in the form of money. And what do you say back to him?
Thank you.
Do you understand that capitalism is thank you?
Thank you.
Do you follow me in that?
Yeah.
And see, because now it's just an exchange of value. It was service for money. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so how did I get rich? I never got anything from government. Everything was just a cap. Do you understand that capitalism has brought more things out of poverty than government or communism, everything ever has? See, so that's why I say you're going, how can you tell me? Because what you're really saying is that money, calling it the root of all evil, is like, well, then what you're saying is value has evil then. Do you follow me on that?
I mean, and what we're saying is that everybody is chasing to be evil, because literally everybody wants money.
But really, what happens is this? And if you go back to this, and I like comedy a little funny this way. The money exchange sometimes. Here, watch this. We still do this today, even though the government hates us. Bartering.
Oh yeah.
Because they don't get their money from that. They want their chunk. See, if you think of it this way, government does this. They give you they take something from you, and they say thank you, and like, I got fucked. I didn't get anything back. I don't say thank you back.
Yeah.
Well, here's my funny example too. Before we go back to the chocolate, we'll remember the chocolate.
I feel like coming into tax time, this is maybe a really good topic right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
But I'll put it in a personal relationship.
yeah.
Okay. So
it is.
So okay. Now, what's your wife's name?
Because they're screwing me.
My wife's name's Sarah.
Sarah, hope you're watching. Wonderful man right here. Can't wait to get to know more. But let's say that you and Sarah, okay, let's just talk about relationships this wise. Let's give it this way. All of a sudden you have sex, okay, and you just happen to finish a little early. You're going to say to your wife, oh, thank you, honey. That was wonderful. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Enjoyed the time that way, some of this. Okay? No. This is the first example. We take any married couple.
You can get away with that.
Or even if that's Andy. Andy's like, Dana, thank you. You're like, okay, cool. I love you. It's good this way. Complete that exchange 10 times in a row. She ain't going to be happy anymore, is she?
Nope.
I know it's a simple example, but see, then when there's no exchange of value, do you see what I'm saying? Now, you're not going to pay your wife money and say, hey, thank you, honey. She's thank you back on that one. You know what I'm saying? But hold that thought. No, but wait, listen, think about this. And that's why money is just an exchange of value. And if you go back to the history of the Mayans, does anybody know what their currency, their money was back then? It's actually chocolate. It was.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually chocolate. So what, you ladies that say money's real value, you don't like chocolate? See, that's funny too. I'm sure you're right there. Okay. No, but see, and the comedy and the value exactly, and the value behind it that is as a capitalist, which does bring people out of poverty. There has to be an exchange of value, and there's always money involved in any exchange of value. There really is, and stuff like that. Heck, you go back to the sex aspect. I know you got something funny. Okay, what are you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, on top of the blowjob meme that was out there that like inspired the reel that I made.
Yep.
There's also something out there about it's like every time the wife does it, or the woman, whatever, does it, she gets $5 put in a jar, and so it depends on how many times she does it throughout the year, and that's her birthday present.
Oh,
Is that your house?
No. See, my birthday's
job,
in
man.
January, and then my husband showed me that meme in like May, and I was like, it's retroactive.
That's
though,
right, you can go back.
You know, and
It's
he
like-
said no, so then I was like, nope, we're not doing this
then we have to
deal.
double the value.
yeah.
We have to instead of $5, it's $20.
Exactly.
See, Andy, there you go.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
might work in a marriage? Because you are married to her. You know what might work? You know, if you finish early, maybe you should like drop a couple dollars on it.
Then
Like,
she can say
hey,
thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. Hey, there's 50. So
What else you should do is when you leave all your clothes all over the place, you should just put money underneath it, so when she picks up the clothes for you, then she's not mad at you anymore.
no. Give her
See,
the
value.
money because she'll think she
Money.
found it. Give her the money, like, hey, that's for you. Clean yourself up and go in the room.
Go give me a towel.
I think
Clean
I think
yourself up
there's
and
a
go make a
description.
sandwich.
a malt.
You know, I think there's descriptions of that. I think they do that in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? It's legal there, okay? No, but that's the thing when you look at the whole money and stuff, and I look at it and I watch people talk about how bad money is. I'm like, you know something? If I look at an individual, and that's why we go back to you talked about it when we looked at that map. You talked about the person that lost it based on the lottery. That's more of a heart issue than it is a money issue.
Oh,
Because they're actually, and that's why it's interesting, because you let me win the lottery, guess what happens this? Sorry. And that's why I said it's like, and it's the preparation that it takes, and it amplifies who you are inside. And I will say this, and Danny, you've been around me for a long time. Lorenzo, you can comment that you're starting to get to know me a little bit more that way. Is I was dead poor, really, really poor when I started. I started my company on $500, okay? And as I got wealthier, I became even more generous. I donate more than I believe that what I do for the people that work with me, the exchange their value, I go above and beyond that. I do a lot of gifting for a lot of things. And so I said, it's just an amplifier. So when people talk about money, I'm sitting there going, what do you have as a hang up? And I'm not joking. And I will tell you this, and we think we've all discussed a little bit. The church, I think, really fucks people up with money. You see, I really do. I think the church really fucks people up when it comes to that stuff. Yet, it's probably, there's a really good documentary series coming out, TV series called The Religion Business.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the biggest scams of money there is, and stuff like that. And it talked about it, and it goes through the history and things like that. But you know, it's really funny. And I have no problem, like let's say an organization, even a nonprofit or a church, asking for money to run some certain things. But it's become more of a business that way. You know, it's like, and you're right, I love what you talked about this way. I get very frustrated when all of a sudden a church stands up and says, hey, we need a new sound system. Can you please donate that way? But then all of a sudden, Marge in the front row has cancer, and it's like, let's pray for him. Wait, community and help and things like that, yeah, prayer is strong. Yes, please do it. But
Right.
you saying so.
She needs to see an oncologist.
Yeah, and the
Faith of the
oncologist
works
once
of
again,
dead.
and in a capitalistic, but even, and that's why if you notice today, money is demonized due to the poor, because what happens if you are poor, you get controlled. You really do, because you're scrambling to survive. So the options that people that have money, it's really funny. People say money's not the most important things, but money affects every important thing in life. You're saying, for your kids, do you want the best school or the shittiest school that's left over from the government?
Of course, you want the best school.
Best food, best healthcare, best everything. That comes with money. So you're saying, so how can it be so? Well, because the person that, no different than, for example, if I come to you and say, hey, listen, man, you do a good service for me, but I want it for free. What would you tell me?
I'm not the right guy. Sorry.
Oh, you just care about money so much. See, what they're doing is they want, but see, that's what government, no, but that's how politicians do and work and things like that, and they demonize people that have money. I'm like going, man, I wasn't, I've had no corruption and got money from government or things like that way and stuff, and you see these companies that do it, so I understand. So that's why people say capitalism. No, capitalism has brought more people out of poverty than any situation in history. It's just that when all of a sudden you get Pfizer wrapped up with government, they think that's capitalism.
Yeah.
If Pfizer really had something that was good as a shot, all you have to do is let the public decide.
Yeah.
And then guess what happened?
People would know pretty fast.
Well, yeah, because as you know,
Everybody
as a person in the world, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, if you think you're something, the world's going to teach you really quickly.
Right. Yes, it will.
No, because what happens is because the only thing that you can bring to the world is value.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. I was gonna say I don't know about women. They no. I mean not that they don't bring value. They're born already with value. Like unlike men, we're not born with value. We have to earn
but let's
value.
do this though. You're right, because you're out the vagina, the pink canoe. Guess what happens? It's a funny term we made up there. But guess what happens? Has massive value.
It does.
It does. It really
Yeah.
does. And so therefore, they're born with it.
Yeah, they're
You
born
say
with
them?
value. Yeah.
But on the flip side, that's why I love these young college guys. They may stud, they may work out, things this, 20 years old, I'm going to crush it that way. And they get out to the world, and guess what happens? No one's paying you for your looks.
Yeah.
Do you see him? It's like, let's say you have a really good looking guy in your industry. Do you really think that sells more things?
I don't think that sells.
That's my
more things,
point.
No.
That's no more value to your industry. People didn't come to me as a doc because I was so damn good looking. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you this right now. I was going to many female doctors when I was a medical device salesman trying to sell amnion for endometriosis. Every woman said to me, how do you know about endometriosis? You don't have a vagina. I said, but I was going to say, I'm in them all the time.
I examine them all the time.
But I didn't. I said, but I just want to help women. And they were like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Instantly, get out of here.
But and I want to come back to this point. If a woman decides to enter the workforce, she has to bring on male characteristics and enter that world, because the world of competition does not give a shit if you're man or woman.
Right. Right.
And so if you're in the mortgage business, correct?
I am.
Okay, so think of it this way. Male or female, you still have to bring value. And there is a competitive aspect. So a woman's value that she can get from a man to maybe be in a relationship is different than the world. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so therefore, and that's why they have to adapt those masculine traits to really be able to succeed in the world if they want to go in the workforce.
I mean, even in politics, that's true. They
Sure
have to
it
be
is.
more masculine.
But
to
on the other side too,
yeah.
like that's why my OnlyFans is like crashing, because like you have to assume those roles.
Are you not putting your feet on there? Put your feet on your OnlyFans.
Yeah, put your feet on there.
That's right. Guys and feet, that seems to do pretty well.
Yeah,
from what I
start doing some
understand.
ASMR. Do some of this.
That's right. Holy crap, time flew by. I'm thinking like we've been at a half an hour. It's been almost an hour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Isn't that
fun.
crazy?
Wow.
And so it's like, so
We're that.
on that
Yeah, that's
topic,
good.
money not being the root of all evil. Matt, any other comments you have when it comes to that comment?
No, I think that was pretty solid.
Mario.
I'm accepting money for my mortgage services.
There you go, see?
Anybody out there that needs to buy or refinance?
Where
hit
do
me
you
up.
work at?
Cross Country Mortgage.
Cross country. Where's that located?
812 Cormier Road.
Awesome. They've been enjoying the industry?
I'm still in it for 20 years. So
Yeah.
I'm a dinosaur in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you were through the crash and everything like that.
I was, yeah.
So you've been through some ups and downs that way.
Yeah.
and stuff. But obviously, you had to be a good capitalist, otherwise you wouldn't still be in the industry.
You got to squirrel away some money
There you go. I
so
love
that
it.
you can still be happy.
Exactly. Well, I want to run that point. But would you agree? Because I can tell you've been successful this way. Understand? I guarantee you've been poor and you've made some money. Correct? I just make this
Oh,
assumption.
yeah, there's been good years, bad years.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with money.
No, exactly. But then be able to be a great provider for your wife and kids, and and the reason why you can spend time at the gym with the kids is because you got a little bit of money, you got some money, and that gives you the freedom and the ability to be there with them. Compared to if you didn't have any money, you would have to work at a second job and third job like that. Correct?
Correct.
See, so that's why I tell people, it's like, it really, as a man, it really does, when we exchange that value and get it back from the public that way, we have to bring something good to the world. It does bring happiness. Because hanging out, boys or girls,
Daughter and a son.
yeah.
One of
And
each.
when you sit in the gym, does that bring you happiness?
Depends on how well they're playing.
Yes, I know.
How hard they're working.
Yes.
No, it does for sure.
Of course it does. But the freedom and the ownership and options of your time still start with having that money. You say, and so why can't we teach our kids to say, listen, yes, guess what happens, and that if you create your value, do you know what I'm saying? Create your value, and then you're gonna get.
I think that's the key. Like you hit on that. Like if you're focused on like how do I add value, how do I create
Yes.
value, that's what's keeping it. That's what's driving
Yes.
it. Not like how do I make money.
Yep.
No, you're focused on the right thing. And
Yep.
Then you don't have to worry about the.
Yeah,
money
because
part.
if you do
Flows.
create value, people are going to give you money.
Yeah.
You saying?
Right.
Or they're going to, and the value exchange can be obviously our currency of today is money, but the value, even if a person, like you said, I'm kind of an old school kind of person. You think I'm joking? This happened when I was in practice. I literally had great farmers around here that exchanged half a beef with me. That's currency.
Yeah.
So I hate beef if I think it's root all evil. Now some vegans may think that. Hold on, probably. But, no, but you get my point though. See, and that's why I just can't understand how you can even conceptualize that money is bad, because unless you move into the crony capitalism, which is not really capitalism, the crony government stuff and people stealing from people, some of this. Well, of course, but that's who they are amplified on the inside. So, Dana, any more on that money?
I've traded my hair girl supplements for doing my eyebrows and
Yeah.
like product and stuff.
But what's wrong with that?
Nothing. We do it all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sweet, I can just go under the table.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know about that, and it's great.
We will edit that part out of the thing and the recording too.
No, we won't. I used to be a CPA. I know what I'm saying.
Yes, that's a good part. Lorenzo, any other comments on those things?
I think a big thing that has made people think that money is evil is also people who come from money, who don't understand how their parents or their grandparents got money, who then become like activists. And so it appears as though money is evil. And then they like to also talk about how evil money is. But they don't have a problem with spending the money and continuing to have money, right? They'll be philanthropists, but some of them are only philanthropists so that they can have a tax write-off at the end of the year. Or they do it strictly for those reasons, not because it's the right thing to do. And I think that has made people have this false image that, those people are generous, but the other people are those people are generous because they're trying to spend their parents' wealth. And the other people who are not, or who are at the top, are for somehow, some way, they're evil because money has made them evil. I mean, I think about how people feel about the Rockefeller family or even the Rothschild family, and they will say things like they're evil because they have money. And it's like, well, they may be evil. I don't know if it's because they have money. Money has just bought them the ability to do these things. Right. But then they look at the offspring, right? They'll see like a grandson, and that person is saying, I care about all these rights and animal rights and table rights and the rights of wooden chairs, and I care about all these rights, so we need to go out there and put money into these rights. And then people think, they're doing the right thing with the money. And I think people have this false idea. Once again, it's control. It's all about control. They're controlling us. Everyone's thinking crazy, getting controlled by everybody who has money.
Yes. Well, remember, you talk about this way, because people that have money actually can use it once again, and you can amplify who you are. If you're evil, it'll amplify your evilness. If you're a dick, it'll amplify you being a bigger dick. And so and they can, and I believe that those kind of people that do have money do want to suppress people so they come to their trough. Right. Because then they keep an element of control and everything and stuff. So I agree with you 100%. So great comments, great topics. We're in. Kind of fun how that happened really quickly that way. So I loved all your feedback and things like that. So now, this one's going to be a little bit different because yeah, there's so many things that are significant that happen with this because I say I didn't talk as much as you said.
I'm actually very impressed.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm very impressed.
So, but I loved hearing what you guys were talking about.
I thought you were going to unload like the last time when you were gone for several weeks.
No.
And it was like, oh, whoa, everybody's talking. Whoa,
Thank you very much.
What is happening?
Well, this one I think might need a little bit more dialogue from me just because I think it'll be a little confusing, but dealing with people. Now, well, obviously, for example, we all have a certain level of people that we deal with that way, but I think this is going to take a little bit more discussion, think this way, but here we go. And Mario, we're going to start with you. Mario, we're going to start with you, and then Matt, we're going to go you there, then we'll go Lorenzo, then we'll go Danny. Here we go. Childhood trauma is finding an excuse about something you don't like about the way you are.
Say it again.
Childhood trauma is finding an excuse about something you don't like about the way you are.
Basically, it's an excuse.
So, I know this is an in-depth one, and I wanted to cover something really in-depth. Okay? And so, I'm going to let you guys talk about it that way, but Mario, what you got for me?
I'm going to agree.
Okay?
I'm going to disagree.
Okay?
I'll agree.
Oh, okay. I agree.
Okay. So, Mario, we're going to start with you, and we're gonna go around. We're going to come back this way, that way, and stuff like that. So let's go through it. What you got for me?
I think in today's society, we're often playing a victim, and we're talking about a past experience that is making you what you are today, or the reason why you view something a certain way. We're playing a victim, and I mean, I guess coming from a place of somebody who doesn't have any childhood trauma, or nothing, I guess that I would say in a form of childhood trauma. I didn't experience, rape or sexual abuse or murders, or I wasn't beat as a child. I mean, I had some disagreements, maybe got, a swat on the ass or a slap on the face or something like that. But, I think today what we're doing is we're trying to victimize ourselves, and we're looking for sympathy. And in this day and age with social media and everything else, you can portray it, and people want that feeling of sympathy from others. And now they're playing it off that that's the way that they are, and that's the path that they're choosing, or the way that they're acting.
Lexit, love it. Matt, what you got for me?
I see things a little bit differently.
Great, let's hear it.
Because I see the victim stage as there's a lot of people in that. This is like a area I work with all the time with people, and one way that I love triggering people, I'm like, why do you think this happened for you? And they're like, well, no, you don't know what they did. Like, yes, very sad. Go on. And get them past that, because some of these things can be your biggest strengths if you choose to use them as that. I agree. There's tons of people that hide behind them and oh, this thing happened to me, and they use it as an excuse. But it can also be one of your greatest strengths, and you can use it as your superpower once you learn how to process that, see it for what it is. What you learn from it. You don't learn anything from all the sunshine and rainbows, and everything's peachy. You don't learn shit. So you really have to go through the gauntlet. You have to go through the shittiest parts. Think about all of you. Think about the worst parts in your life. And then look how it got to you to where you are today. Mm-hmm. You would not be even sitting at this table had it not been for some of the trials, some of the things that you went through. Even in business, I'm sure it wasn't easy. It wasn't a walk in the park. No one just handed it to you. All that is I see that as almost like trauma. It's things that you had to endure to bring you to where you are, and it's what you choose to do with it.
And I think I want to rephrase this after listening to you guys. Blaming childhood trauma. You say I'm blaming because I'm not saying that childhood trauma isn't, I want to make that very clear, isn't evident and stuff like that. But I think I want to rephrase that because it's just listening to you guys. Okay. Because you guys are actually more similar than what you thought. You just said it a little different way. Blaming childhood trauma is finding an excuse about something you don't like about the way you are. And so that, because I actually agree with both of you guys, even though one said agree, one said disagree that way. And but see, this is how we can work things out. Do you follow me in that? Yeah. We think we're on a disagreement, and we don't realize that we're actually have more commonalities than we actually do have disagreements. Oh, Lorenzo, what you got for us?
I would like to change my answer.
That's right.
For the record.
So I said I agree because today it appears that we have a lot of people who seem to find trauma in almost everything. Like everything is a trauma. I stubbed my toe. That's a trauma. I'm going to have to work through this stubbing of the toe. I'll probably never get in the bed ever again. Or I got in the car and I saw a dog on the side of the road. I'm not traumatized. I don't know where that dog's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen to that dog. So now I'm going to have to work through this. And I think that what is happening is people are not finding real traumas or real issues that they have gone through and finding the strength in them, like you said. They're not learning a lesson, right? So what they're doing is they're just consistently blaming everything that has gone wrong in their lives, or the fact that they don't have happiness because they ain't got money, right? So that is something that they will then say, I was suffered this traumatic experience when that one time I got fired from that one job and it wouldn't allow me to make money anymore. And it's like, well, there were other jobs to have. I mean, you should have learned the lesson from why you got fired. And that's not trauma. We've all been fired from something, I'm sure. We've all been let go from a position. We've all had to leave a job because we didn't like it. So that's not trauma. But people are literally taking the smallest thing and making it into huge traumas in their lives and saying, this is affecting me so much, I no longer can cope. I no longer can manage my life. And I think that people are now and this is becoming the basis for many people's arguments for why they can't be successful, for the basis for why they can't find love, for the reason why they can't have good relationships with people in the world, whether that's business or friendships. These people are then saying, oh, it's because of, well, my mother did this to me. No, your mother did that. That shouldn't affect you fucking working the computer. What's wrong with your ass? Are you kidding me? Or my father did this. Oh, so that's why you don't eat fucking broccoli now, mama? What's wrong with you? You know, and it's like everything, I'm serious. Everything is now something, I can't do this because of that. I remember I was dating a chick and she said she doesn't drink water because when she was a kid, she got in the pool and water got up her nose. And I'm like, motherfucker, that happens all the time to everybody. That's right. So should we all just be like, oh no, never get in the water ever again? You don't know what that water did inside your nose. It's going to kill you when you're 50. Oh my Lord, you're at risk now. You should go to the doctor. You're 10. You may need to go to the doctor because you're going to die at 50 because water went up your nose. Your body is made of water. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. It's like, but this is now where we are. Everything is a trauma. Everything affects me. Donald Trump is affecting me. Joe Biden is affecting me. Kamala Harris is affecting me. I'm affected by the killing in Chicago, though I live in Wausau. I am affected by all of the things. I'm affected by what happened in Hawaii, though I live in Ireland. I've never been to Hawaii. I don't even know what the hell is over there. Is it Americans or Hawaiians?
I'll be generous and bring
You got to make more money.
That's right.
Well, I'm just saying, right? Well, I don't live in Ireland either, but I'm just saying. This is now what trauma is. Trauma is all these things. I'm sure there have been people traumatized by this show.
I hope so.
I bring trauma to people purposely.
I am sure there are people who are like, I will never watch the I Disagree podcast ever again.
Tell your friends if you don't.
That's right.
Because the bald head guy and the disrespectful anti-feminist and the Uncle Tom nigga all sat up there and said things that offended me. And now I'm traumatized. I can't watch the YouTube ever again.
Can you be more descriptive instead of just bald guy? What about,
the penis head, as Kellen called it. Penis head. The penis head, the disrespectful, disgusting anti-feminist, and the Uncle Tom nigga. There you
got her. Now, Danny, before we got, I got one quick question. What was that program that when you were speaking about this, that everything's a fucking trauma? Life skills. There it is. There's a program out there, life skills, everything. Man, if somebody talks to you wrong, it's trauma. Or what they say? It wasn't a trauma. They did abuse or something like that. Arrested and developed. Yeah, but no, that's an understandably term. That's actually a true term. But they turned everything. But they used either was it trauma or abuse. What did they use? Everything was abuse. Everybody's like because basically it happens if you just talked about if your parents talked to you wrong, there's some form of abuse. If you got a spank on the butt, there was some form. It just everybody kept going. I was abused as a child. I was abused as a child. I was abused as a child. And then So anyway, I just remind me to say it that way. There's actually, and it's actually a big program in churches that way. I'm like going, holy shit! You wonder why people can't handle anything every day. You say, it's because you can talk about those things because you know why? Yeah, like you said before, you have it too good. What you got in this one?
People do have it too good. No, I mean we're just living this like victim culture. I really just can't stand it. So this victimhood mentality, it's so easy in our culture now to fall right into that because it gives people permission to not be productive members of society because they can just throw their hands up in the air and be like, well, shit, it's because of, X, Y, Z. It's nothing that I did, and I don't have any accountability or responsibility for anything, when really, like we're saying, that's just an excuse for pretty much just not being awesome, is what that is. And I think that we all have the obligation to be the best possible humans that we possibly can be. And you can look at two people who have the exact same childhood trauma. And one person is going to be living on the streets, and he is going to blame his childhood trauma for that. And the other person is going to be a millionaire. He's going to tell you this really awesome story of how he took that trauma and harnessed it and grew it into the success that he is today. And you get to choose which one of those people you want to be. The choice is completely yours. Everybody gets to decide what they want to do with that. And I'm just so sick of America having this whole like, oh, poor me, oh, fuck me attitude, when it's like, no, you really need to flip that into, no, fuck you. I'm going to be as successful as I'm going to possibly be despite what has happened to me. And if we can turn that around for society, we can probably have a much higher value culture.
Yeah, and talk about the old psychiatric realm. It's probably one of the biggest bullshit things there are out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why so many people ask presses. But I got a quick question for you. And I'm going to just want to go around quick answer and explanation. Don't you think that then, after listening to you guys, that the concept of trauma is subjective, not objective? What do you think, Mario?
100%. I mean, my kids right now, if I told them to go pick up the dog shit, that's trauma for them.
Same.
You got to go outside and shovel the snow. heaven forbid. Holy shit. Was I beating them with the shovel? I don't know if I got to eat dinner if I wasn't out there working hard, So, yeah, it's subjective for sure.
What do you think there, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's subjective, and I think it's, like Dana said, it's kind of not so much the story, it's kind of what we attach to that. Like, dog shit, big deal, but to them it's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, and I think that's their experience. So.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, it's 100% subjective. People are basically children today. Grown adults are now grown children. So they're traumatized by everything.
Yeah.
Dana?
No, it is. Some things that affect other people are some things that especially women are whining about. I just look at them and I'm like, oh God, you're fucking dumb. I just can't even stand this.
So I got a question for you. Who gets to decide the subjective and objective of trauma? No, I really want to think about this. Like, I've always said this. Who gets to decide whether the flowers and what are the weeds? Think about it.
Yeah.
You say, it's like, what's the flowers, the weeds?
It's accepted. We've just gotten crazy about
It's
that.
the same thing. It's just, it's like this. It's like, I always tell people like this. It's like vegans, okay? You just don't like to kill the cute animals, but you don't mind if a rat gets destroyed in the field when they're making your soy breakfast. It's like
for your soy boy,
I
for your
know.
boy soy latte pussified beta males.
there we go. But I want you to think about this. Who gets to decide which are the animals that allowed to get killed and which it's really funny. They actually statistically pulled this out. The amount of animals that are killed just by making avocados is huge. Do you understand? Everything from gophers, everything like that was like going, which makes sense. But see, that's why I say, who gets to decide the subjective or even the objective aspect of that? And you're right. I think the bar has been shifted. The goalpost has been shifted because as the world has gotten easier, because I'm sorry. If you look at the world itself, capitalism has pulled in a lot of countries things out of major despair and suffering and things like that. And the fact that now that we are sitting there going, okay, it's traumatic. My goodness, there's no objective standard. It can't be, because once again, like you talked about, somebody got told to shovel snow. It's like, you hear stories. Our grandpas always say, I walked to school uphill both ways in the snow.
Shoes,
yeah. Do you see him? And they basically were telling you guys are getting soft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but here's what happens. Now, let's discuss this for a second. I don't want to downgrade that there are some very bad things that happen.
100%.
And I'm not going to, and I may have even caused some of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, my point is this, because sometimes everybody can make some mistakes, do things, but here's the point. But here's one thing that happens. And being in business, I will just talk about this. And you kind of hit on the head when you talk about this. I actually had a doctor. No joke. He was hitting a wall. He wasn't growing. He wasn't seeing progress in his life. His wife was frustrated, things like this. And I said to him, okay, listen. I said, what's going on? Okay, what's really going on? Because we know there are certain mental barriers, once again, subjective or objectively that way, that we're doing that way. And he was telling me about something that happened in childhood. And this is where this actually came from. So this is actually something not only have I dealt with dealing with a lot of people, but he's like, well, when I was a kid, I stopped him right there. I said, let me ask you a question. And he talked about being, I use the example. It said, listen, I don't care if the priest touched your fucking pee-pee when you were 7 years old. Does it stop you from taking action right now? See,
Right.
every trauma that you go through still does not actually stop action. You saying? Because you ever see the barriers that people have, they stop their action. It doesn't mean, it even means if they're trying to have a friendship or a relationship with somebody, man or woman, vice versa that way, but it stops their actions. And I got a question for you. Okay, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun with this one. Okay, I'm actually gonna pick on Mario for a second. If I were to give 2 descriptive words of him, already just getting to know him a short time, I would say ethical and I would say motivated. Would you see that could be some 2 descriptive words about you?
What does everybody else think?
What do you think?
Oh, we got an answer.
Yeah,
Oh,
what do you think?
not rhetorical here?
No.
Not rhetorical. What do you think?
Calm and financially driven.
I was going to say calm.
Yeah.
Dang, you took me.
I was gonna say composed and driven.
Fine, I'll go with grounded and well-spoken.
And do you understand that everything you described was actually observable actions?
Right. Yeah.
Observable actions. So traumas exist, bad ones exist. We know this, but it still doesn't stop you from action. And so I think when people pin it on a childhood trauma, they're just trying to say, here's something I don't like about myself and not do anything about it. So is my phrase incomplete? Yes. I should say blaming childhood traumas is finding an excuse, something you don't like about self and won't do anything about it.
Well, I always think about, so with this statement, think about like those who like, so in those who live around violence, right? Wherever, if you live in a country that's violent, if you live in the inner city and it's violent, a lot of those people don't even, if you never told them that was trauma, they would think that's normal. That's
Right.
just everyday life.
Right.
Somebody had to tell them, oh, you were in a trauma-filled situation. I mean, for like Chicago, for instance, a lot of those people for a long time, and I'm old enough to remember when the gang life wasn't trauma. It was gang life.
Yes.
Then it became, you all are in a trauma-filled war zone. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Well, hold on. It's not a war zone. I mean, it's bad. It is
Right.
bad, but it's not a war zone.
Right.
And how is this now traumatic to these people that they can't function? So now they're pigeonholed into the society because of trauma. It's not because of culture in the area. It's not because of politicians continually utilizing these people for votes only and not trying to help them get out of their situation. It's not that black leadership continually needs them to stay here because they need money so that they can continue to fight the same issues of circular nonsense. So it's none of those things. It's now because they because they heard gunshots or a friend of theirs got shot. But 10 years ago, this wasn't trauma. My father grew up in the projects. He never ever has he ever said, I didn't get a job because it was trauma, because I was traumatized by gang violence. Mm-hmm. He was like, I didn't get the job because I wasn't qualified. That's it. My mother grew up in the hood. Never once did she say, well, I never could, it was hard for me to find a good man like your father because I was traumatized by all the gangbanging or the pimping that was around me. No, she had pimps right in her family. Mm-hmm. So they wasn't around her. They were literally right here.
Yep.
I mean, was that traumatizing to have the pimp in the family? Was it traumatizing to have drug addicts in the household? Or is it traumatizing seeing drug addicts on the street? It's like, I don't understand what is today, what are we considering trauma? And it seems like those things are now trauma only when it's political season. They're not trauma all for year round. It's like all these other different things become trauma. Like, oh man, you took your YouTube away from your child. That's a traumatic experience. Oh my God! Did you not? You did. So your child wanted a blueberry blow pop, and you did not allow them to have it on a Friday. That's traumatic. And a Thursday, I understand. But Friday, that's traumatic.
Yep.
I mean,
But see, that's the thing, and you think about it this way, and Matt, we'll come back to you in this way. Who gets to decide? See, that's the point about it. That's the thing. Who gets to decide? And that's why when good people do nothing, evil prevails. It's like, because when all the DEI and all the racial bullshit and all the things that come out that way, it's so scary that people cannot stand up and go, shut the fuck up. Sorry, your dumb idea, shut up. You saying? Because people say, we can't say that, it shames people. There's nothing wrong with shaming. Zero. There's nothing wrong with bullying. Do you understand? Because it prepares you for the world that's out there. And that's it. Well, trauma. Well, guess what happens is that's all subjective. There is no objective measure of trauma, because we know you can go back and forth in examples. Even if we've seen this in households. One becomes a drug addict, one becomes a doctor. You say one becomes a millionaire, one's actually broke and homeless that way, lived in the same environment. See, and that's the part that I sit there and go. So even if people say, well, no, it does exist. Okay, who gets to determine? Who gets to determine the objective and subjective aspect? That's why it's all subjective. It really is. And so, yeah.
I think it's relevant to each person. I help a lot of people with their trauma, and I know there is part of the action step, but I see it kind of like a graph. Like, there's this big threshold for some people to get over that, to take that action. Mm-hmm. And when they actually work through that, they can just kind of sidestep, and it's not a big deal. But otherwise, they're faced like with all this stuff, and they have to, like, I don't know, kind of overcome that. The problem is like, it's kind of this society thing. Like, we have, like, it's a real experience for each person. Like, your kid's shoveling, oh my gosh, it was traumatic to them, and like, it's subjectively for them. It's not for someone on the outside to say, oh, this is traumatic for you and it shouldn't be for you, or whatever the situation is. The problem with our society, like, we started becoming open about some of this stuff. You know, like, we were able to talk about this. Finally, kids that have been, like, really abused are able to be able to talk about this stuff and process this stuff, like, in like the older generations. And now it's almost become this thing where you see all these support groups popping up. Yep. Awesome, that's good for a certain part of the journey, but, like, so many people get stuck there, and people actually, like, bond over it. Like, oh my gosh, your mom did that to you? Did we just become best friends?
Yeah,
like,
it's funny you
my
say
gosh.
that.
And, like, and then also
they bond
like,
on their traumas.
Part of like hanging on to that, like, also that gets their friendships, and they get them this, like, sympathy vote. And, like, I don't know how many posts that I see, like, on Facebook or something, like, oh, my life, blah blah. And, like, I know, you know the type. Like, everyone knows it, and it's like, it just feeds it. It just fuels it. And, well, of course you're not going to get better, because there's this payback. You're getting that attention and stuff because of it. I have friends because of this. Oh, I have people that understand me because of this. Well, you're not going to get better, because, like, that's just fueling it. So I think it's a systematic problem in that regard.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to throw something out there and some of that. Do you think the feminization, actually female traits in the
Yes.
public?
Yes.
Thank you.
Before you even
Yeah, it doesn't
finish
matter.
it, yes.
It is the woman's fault. Yes.
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 It's you guys know
She
I'm going
probably
with
was
this.
driving too.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It probably was a woman driving, ruining a man's
with
life.
another woman. They
That's-
probably were talking, and they probably hit someone.
Right. This is why we need the
Yeah,
law. The
I know,
lady,
with the-
lady driver.
Yep.
Lady driver.
You have to go back to past episode and some of this one. No, but I want you to think about it this way, and this is where, for example, feminine characteristics in society actually make society worse. And now, for example, because a mom is going to be more compassionate about somebody else's feelings compared to the masculine realm in the world going, we don't give a shit about your feelings, because here's what happens. Let's just take in the realm of sports. I find it funny that the biggest component, which I'm starting to not like him now, but Mark Cuban.
I know.
Mark Cuban, because now he's becoming a big DEI pusher, diversity, equity, and equality. I'm like going,
He used
well,
to
you
be so-
dumbass, you're in a
so
fucking
attractive.
profession, an NBA, where the majority of people are black. Why don't you sit there and go, well, then fuck, what? Just throw some white guys on there, because you need it diverse.
White guys, not Europeans.
Yes, white
Too.
guys.
White guys.
Yeah,
Right.
Fucking Americans, you got all these fucking foreigners.
That's
You
right.
saying?
That's right.
No, I mean, we gotta think about this.
And
But see,
and we're the Asians.
that's right.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Dude, you telling me a 5-foot Asian guy can't slam dunk?
Yeah.
Says who? That's trauma. That's
That's
traumatic.
right, traumatic.
And redheads, were
but
they?
you think about it this way, because
Underrepresented.
the true masculine aspect would say, I want the best out there. And then therefore, guess what happens? They go, and then all of a sudden the feminine comes and says, well, everybody needs a chance. See, DEI, I'm like going, you are so contradictory on your words, Mark Cuban, that you can't, because if you took DEI truly into your basketball court, then why do you have a draft and go for the best people? Just pick the bottom.
Right.
Pick the people that never get a chance.
Just pick who you like.
Just pick who you like.
Pick who you relate
Yep.
with.
It's
You had
like-
a conversation. You guys relate well
Yeah.
about like life, and you
Yep.
like this
You
guy.
bonded over your traumas.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Bonded over
awards.
trauma.
You
Yeah.
can hand out participation
Yeah.
awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
No more NBA
so coming
files.
back to the aspect, and I said, so I use the aspect of feminine qualities because you see more men. I literally told a pastor the other day, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking meet with you on there because you said I swear. I said, you sound like a fucking woman. That's why churches are all feminized. You saying? I want a real man to get up there and go, who had a tough week? Who had this shit to say? Who he was pissed off? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's the thing. So that feminine characteristics, once again, to govern society, I'm sorry, just don't work. And I think that's why subjectively, when the feminine has more voice in society, it's like that goalpost gets shifted. Do you follow me in that? Oh, Mario, let's start with you. Any thoughts or comments on the stuff we just talked about?
Yeah, I definitely think, I agree with you on a lot of those things. I think the world would be a shitty place if we didn't have any love or compassion out there, at least a little bit of it. But we definitely are becoming more soft.
Yeah.
We're here to coddle these children, from like a mother's standpoint. And it's unfortunate that we're becoming as soft as we are.
Yeah, and I think what we do, but I think we equate the hardness with not loving, because I'll say it so that just to make it evident here. I think my kids will get a spank on the butt, and people say, "Well, you don't love them, you spank them." You say, "Well, no, punishment sometimes is love." You say, and so what they do is they think, and remember, and nice thing about in the world, talk about bringing value. If you don't bring value, someone else is going to do it. They're going to outvalue, and they're going to take, and they're going to think, and you go home to think, I just lost my job. Well, why'd you lose your job? You talk about, well, why'd you do it? It's great. That's a good experience, because maybe you just suck. Do you understand? Maybe you just suck. But see, with DEI or anything of the feminine nature, here, watch this. I've said this many times on this podcast before. I had a family member that was in prison for 8 years. I'd go visit them, okay? And I would literally during roll call, and it was a prison camp, so they no joke, it was called the walk off. They could literally walk off, but they get 5 more years. They have a line literally on the thing with a white bar. And all of a sudden, I would sit there while they were doing roll call, and I'd talk to the mothers and the girlfriends, and every time I was there, I'd say, "Hey, what's up with your son this way? Why is he in here that way?" And you know what the mothers would say to me every single time? He's really a good guy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we're in fucking prison. Do you understand? I said, do you understand that maybe if you would have been, and it's really funny though, and you start asking about this, I'm like, well, what does his dad do? Well, dad wasn't involved. Do you understand? So then you're at home, I think the feminine qualities should be dominant, are essential. Not running the household, but actually making it a great place. Mm-hmm. But to the world, that can't exist, because then that guy goes out to the world and goes, well, my mama thinks I'm special, so therefore I lost my job. Wait, I want to talk to HR. I believe that if femininity was not brought into the culture, we need HR departments.
Nope. Shit. You never had an HR department. Nope. You let those women start working.
Exactly.
That's true. I
just talked to somebody about that this week.
You said?
Wouldn't need HR if we didn't have women around
but
here.
One of the last people before I had a big purge that walked out of here was a soy boy who, because I actually had and I'm okay with everybody's opinion, but as long as you don't think you can govern my life. Right. I actually had it had nothing to do with me, but I had a Travis, I'll use Travis' example, used to work with a transgender guy. And he raised money to actually get his transgender surgery, and then didn't do it, kept all the money, bought some cars, stuff that never had surgery that way. And so then he called him by his real name or Facebook. Wow. And then I get a message saying the LGBT is going to come after you if you don't fire him. I said, go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. Go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit about your community and things like that.
Are you all okay? Was that traumatic?
Oh my goodness!
That money, because he stole that money. He didn't utilize it.
I know.
Right way. That's
traumatic.
He
got his tears out.
That's traumatic.
Yes.
That's traumatic.
Yes. I laughed a little bit. I'm like, I told him, go fuck yourself. I don't care what community you are part of. That way, if I'm a person that says you can choose whatever lifestyle you want. Cool with that way. I'm cool. Live your life. Cool. I wouldn't even invade it. What you do at your home, great, fantastic. But the minute you try to govern me and tell me how to run my life because this guy, because he just said that to him that way, and because you know why? He took it as an attack. He did. He goes, I'm going to tell people that the wellness way is not a safe place to go for the LGBT community. I said, well, then why don't you tell all the gay people and stuff that work for me?
Well, wait a minute.
I'm like, because they're loved by me. Talk about loved. They're treated with massive respect by me. Because I do have people that are gay and bisexual, and I have a bunch of the alphabet people that work for me.
But I'm confused by this hypocrisy. This person stole money and then had the audacity to say you all did something wrong.
Because what they did is the tribal aspect of that culture right now. You can't speak against it. You can't call about their behavior because then they'll say it's racism. They'll say, well, wait, well, you do this all the time. You get called Uncle Tom based on this. You'll call out their behavior.
Right.
And if you got rid of all the variables as far as like man or woman, race or sexual preference that way, everybody say that's really bad behavior. But see, when they throw like, well, the gay community is going to hate the one, so I'm like, really? Then why is it that my employees here that have different sexual preferences than me love it here, feel respected by me, get treated wonderfully in our culture, don't feel the same way you do?
But why does I guess the bigger question would be, why does this person feel that they have the privilege to steal from you all and then get offended by anything? They if anything, I would think that they would say, I came up. I don't worry about it. Go ahead, say what you got to say. I came up. I got a new car. Right? I mean, you won, right? Didn't you? Aren't you happy now because you got all that money? I mean, I don't understand. Now you're gonna attack them because somebody called you by. I guess I'm not understand. I'm not saying that you need to explain or make me understand. I'm just thinking about the hypocrisy of the whole situation. You stole money. This person made a mistake or whatever, called you by your real name, and that made you that angry. They should have been that angry with you about stealing the money.
But then to rein another group in, that just drives a wedge further in between.
Well, you should have said the young Republicans are going to get mad at you, you motherfucker. How about that? The Young Business Owners Association, the philanthropy group of Green Bay, the people who give money to gay people, they mad at you now. We mad at you. The people who give to trans groups, we are mad at you now because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Right. You're disrespectful to all transformers. Look at you. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. Now I have to make a comment on one of our comments on your Patrick. No joke, guy named Patrick. Thank you for coming. But I have to talk about this because we're talking about the society. That he said there needs to be an equal balance in society. Go too far one way and the system gets out of whack. Right now we're shifted too far. You're right. No, I've always said this. My company is about 70% masculine, about 30% feminine traits that way because cultural wise, events and things like that actually are done that way. But society has shifted towards the feminine, and that's why we do have the problems.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, so it can't be equal, because that would be saying that there was still too much feminine brought into a company, too much femininity brought into the society, actually tries to divide things equally, and that leads to communism.
Well, and this is interesting. So I've said this on this show before. There is a woman. In the 90s, she wrote a book, and this is exclusively about the black community. However, it is clear that this is for the entire United States of America now. The book is called Message to the Black Woman. It's written by Shahrazad Ali. Mm-hmm. In the book, she says, and she gave a speech where she spoke to black women, and she said, you all do not like your situation in the ghettos. You all don't like your black boys growing up and going to jail. And women were like, no. And she said, but that's your problem. She said, you all are the ones who are controlling these men. You raised them by yourself. So if you have an issue with the way your son was raised, who are you looking at is the reason? It's you. Most of the black community is women raising men. So how is it that we're sitting up here blaming men who weren't there for these men not being men when it's the woman who was the example that led to this man's behavior? It's something that he saw in you or something that you were giving to him that made him think, I can go out in the world and act like this. There's no consequence. I don't have to respect the authority because why should I? It's like Jay-Z made this point, which is very interesting because he's a man who grew up with no father, but he made this point when he had kids that one of the biggest things that black men don't get is they don't get that lesson from another black man about how to respect authority. And so they go out into the world and they disrespect the police. They disrespect other people who are of authority. So when they lose their job, it's his fault. It's not my fault. It's this motherfucker's fault because he's trying to be my boss. Is his title manager, supervisor, director? He is your boss. No, I'm my boss. No, that's not how this works. Where is he getting that from? That mother. This is her attitude. When she couldn't keep a job, this is exactly what she came home and said. Same thing when he can't find a relationship or if he can't be with a woman. It's not because he's not being a man. It's not because he's not making the proper decisions to be a provider. Once again, it's her. She didn't do something. But all your decisions have been this way. You've made these decisions because the person who was instilling values in you, the person who was giving you these rules, these ideas of what the example of authority was a woman who was defiant to authority. And for the most part, my father said this to me a long time ago. He said, women in general like to just be defiant to authority. He said, sometimes women just like to test the waters. Let them test the waters. Let their ass get burnt. He said, and then they'll come back. I always say on my show, and my father didn't like it when I said it to him this week, and I said, well, I like that example. I said, but on my show, what I always say, Dad, is women are just children with breasts. And he said,
Enzo, do you remember our conversation? Women are made to test men and to drive them crazy.
Mm-hmm. And my father confirmed that this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't believe you. I had to hear it from a man.
Dana, I got to hear this, and then Mario wants your opinion, and then Matt wants your opinion.
Women are made to test men. That's the whole dynamic of the masculine and the feminine. It's that polarity. It's the masculine who stands strong, and he's competitive, and he's aggressive, and he's all those masculine words that we talk about all the time, and he never wavers regardless of the emotional shitstorm of the woman. And the feminine, and the masculine, he prioritizes his mission, right? That's the core of the masculine. It's his mission. That's his priority in life. And the core of the feminine is love and intuition and radiance, is ultimately the relationship with the women, or the feminine prioritizes the relationship, but the women, or the feminine, is just a little bit more like, chaotic, and the masculine is a whole lot more stoic. That's what makes them complementary opposites, and you need complementary opposites in a relationship in order to be attracted to each other, like magnets. That's how that works. You don't need that for love, because you can love anybody, but if you want to have passion in a relationship, you need to have your complementary opposite, because that's how actual relationships that thrive end up working. And part of that dynamic is the very strong stoic man who doesn't waver in the face of anything, and the little bit of, crazy woman over here who brings some of that testing into the man in a good way.
Matt, I want you to run on that, talking about the polarity and energy and stuff like that. I want to see you guys have the dynamic here.
Yeah, so I kind of agree. I think the feminine aspect is needed. I appreciate the compassion, and I think it gets skewed when you have an extreme. Then if you're doing it and you're fucking enabling people, that's when it's a problem. When you're like, oh, sorry about that. That's not love. That's not you're
right.
You're just making things worse.
Right.
And but I also don't want to be the extreme masculine that's whipping their dick out to show how tough they are. There's a.
Hey, why not?
Okay, well, I mean,
that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Sword fight after. I know.
We're gonna have a contest here. We're gonna put that black thing to test here. Nice to have me back, isn't it? So
Mario's like, what did I sign up for?
That's right.
I heard a really good story the other day. I was in California, and some friends out there, they were talking about how they release these sea turtles. Mm-hmm. And they said you can't just go throw them in the water because they'll die. Yep. They said you have to take them back, and you have to put them at the top of the beach, and they have to think that they crawled out, and then they have to make their way to the beach. Otherwise, they won't survive. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a good analogy for. Yeah. I never heard that before, and I was like, gosh, that's fucking spot on for what it means to actually have compassion, but at least let them struggle, let them find their way rather than.
So, but I got a question for you, just to interject this. Who do you think is going to let a person struggle more to develop, a mother or a dad?
A father.
That's my point. Mm-hmm. See, so remember, I don't want to, and of course, that I don't want people to get misconstrued, and Patrick, I want to make it clear this way. The masculine and feminine is needed for survival of life and everything that way. Mm-hmm. We're just putting it in the wrong areas, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Sam, when you take that subjective aspect of trauma, and now you let the femininity bring that into culture, well, fuck, then everybody thinks they're traumatic.
Yeah, it gets out of balance, out of whack.
It gets a thing that way. Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side, and I'm going to come to you in a second that way, but I want to get your take on this, just on cultural issues that way. I know this, and I just want to set this example because I'm more on this guy's side, and if you actually let him talk and when they interviewed him, but culturally, from the world, Adrian Peterson was demonized for disciplining his child to the point where he's like, listen, you don't live in the black culture. I'd rather beat his ass with a switch and have him have a bruise on his ass than him go out in the public and get shot by a cop. Do you see what I'm saying? The world demonized Adrian Peterson. I'm like going, he's preparing him for the world. Because there are situations where some of that dumb shit does happen. Do you know what I'm saying? So they move the goalpost on him. But would you agree with me? And sometimes in the black community, culturally, that's a really good, damn good lesson.
Yeah, I got my butt beat all the time with a razor strap, with a broom, with a hanger, with
fly swatter, the other side.
Man,
Woo!
my auntie, I remember I got into a fight with a little Mexican boy down the street. I ran back to my aunt's house. She pulled out a butcher knife and said, both of y'all, give me y'all's hands. She turned it on the flat side and
Boom.
She whipped me, whipped him.
Yep.
He went home, told his Mexican mama. His Mexican mama came down. She said, can you beat your nephew one more time? And when you get home, I'm whooping your ass again. Thank you, Miss Gwendolyn. He's getting another ass whooping when his father
Yeah.
come home too. So it was like, damn, he got 3 ass whoopers. I only got one because my father's going to be like, did you kick his ass? So it's like, yeah, I threw a rock in his face. My nigga.
Yes. Any comments on that, Mario?
I don't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
How
do you follow that?
Sometimes
There's a lot to take in.
Well, no, but it is. But and see, here's what happens. I know it sounds really weird. We were having a discussion, and last night, Christy, me, Dion, and Aaron, and then Brandon popped in this way. It's like this. I know it sounds funny. All these discussions can make all of our lives better. And I watch people get distracted by sports and other things. I'm not saying entertainment's a bad thing, okay? If a person wants to have entertainment in their life, I'm fine with that way. But the majority of people don't have certain conversations about this. And believe it or not, this can even lead to good policy and good things for our society by discussing things like that. Because once again, we all do come from a different thing. And the sad part is this: is we talk about governing things that way. We have to step back and go. So you're going to subjectively, as you brought the feminine aspect into the world, and now Adrian Peterson, which 50 years ago wouldn't have been demonized like he was later. You're moving the goalpost so much that, okay, what is the outcome? See, that's what I tell people. Give me an idea, and I'm going to see if it's valuable for society, because over time, like society better. Would you agree with me? I'm sorry. And people say I'm more patriotic or patriarchy and stuff that way. They go in, the last 50 years, we have kids that are weaker. We have more kids on psychiatric drugs. We have more women on psychiatric drugs. We have all these things because their life is so bad. Yet, if you look at the history of the world, we're in one of the greatest times to live ever. Capitalism has created more goodness and more things and more ease and less things ever in history. Yet, we have more fucking people on psychiatric medications, all of this, because we have to retro and bring them back in control. And I'm sorry, I just don't see. I disagree with it.
Do you think it's partly because everything is so easy now?
I
want it to be so damn easy?
I can honestly tell you that I see this, and here I've always said this. And even though that I'm wealthy, fly around private jets, do things like this, I've earned it capitalism-wise. I still never forget where I came from. And let me explain. Do you really think that people in India that can't get clean water, and no joke, I'm going to be going to India soon and stuff, and I have some people over there, business people, and also politics stuff I'm getting involved in over there. And here's the one thing is this. Do you really think they give a shit about global warming?
No.
They don't, because they don't even know where their clean water is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these people over here, and I call it the Leonardo DiCaprio principle because he got so big into global warming. It's like when things are so good and you have no other real purpose to work for. Okay, great, you make another good movie. I like a lot of his movies. Some of my favorite movies are his. When you don't really have real problems, you have to make them up. Mm-hmm. And I see that with church women. I really do.
All women, just so you know. But
I would say church women are worse. Do you know what I'm saying? Because what happens is because they think they're by nature, by the misconstrue of remember, everybody negotiates with the Bible if they want to do that way. But the idea is that, and that's all religions. Mm-hmm. What they do is they think they're a martyr by suffering. I'm a better Christian because I'm suffering, and you can't talk about the goodness that in your life, or the goodness that happens with your family, or the gifts that you have and the success that you have, and stuff like that, because it's suppressed that way. Mm-hmm. So I just see it, like you said. So I'm 100%. I thought. Do you believe that?
I do.
See, so do I. So we you and I have a lot in common. Do you, Sam? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and I can see that, and you're like going, okay, listen, that's a good part. And it's, what do you think? Do you think that society's got weaker?
I think so. I think that there's not the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks. There's not the pressure that there was in the past to
I like
grow,
that.
but
Yeah,
I also think that we live in a fucking awesome time.
So do I.
If you choose to do with it, now is the time for you. Like, this is your chance to like take it and run with it. So just like anything is what you're going to do with it.
Oh.
Like, look at the opportunities that have been presented to like all of us.
They're fast.
And I know.
Mm-hmm.
So be on the track you want to be on because it's happening quick.
Yes.
If you want your life to be shit, if you want to like focus on that, guess what? You can create that.
Yes,
that can
you
be that can be what you experience. Cool.
Yes.
I personally I don't choose that. So I think now is the time where all those possibilities can happen faster, one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Whatever you put your attention on is what expands.
Yeah.
And a bad economy doesn't have to be your economy.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
So Dana, there's something you said to me that I want you to expand upon a little bit because I'm still trying to process this right here. Because is it really the woman's job to you know,
Where are we going with this?
what's that?
So where are we going with this?
No. Being totally serious on this, when you talked about saying, you know, to poke or something like that, but
to drive him crazy.
I know, but see, that's the thing. It's like going, 'cause
Okay.
that doesn't bring peace to a
Yeah,
man.
I know. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Women need to have their 3 S's together, right? They're sexy, supportive, and serene. Okay, serene, peaceful, tranquil. Yes, a good woman does bring you peace, but she also will like test a man because that's a way of a woman feeling a man's strength and
Can you describe-
masculinity.
I apologize because remember,
Like,
not
what's
for
a test?
myself, but yeah, exactly. I want to talk for the audience too.
Like, okay, man works hard at his job, just landed a $1 million deal, whatever. He's going to get a big payout, comes home, tells his wife that he's really excited about it and everything. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, did you remember to get the milk today? And he's like, no, because man's not going to remember to stop at the store to get a gallon of milk, obviously. Especially if you just won or landed $1 million. Just play, just humor me.
Come on, Larry.
For
Come on,
crying out loud.
Lorenzo.
God.
If I drink coffee, I'm gonna go and get me some.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, comes home, right? He's excited. Tells his woman all she cares about, you know, like is the milk. Okay, so that's a test, right? Okay, is it a little bit shitty? Like, should she be a little bit excited? Okay, fine. We can split hairs on things like that, but that's a test because that man cannot waver in that. Okay, he can't like think that all of a sudden what he did isn't important or that he's not successful. His approval should not be based on her because he should know who he is, whether he's with her or not. And so he still stands strong and is proud of exactly what he does. And I don't care what you say, the proper response for him is to pick her up, spin her around and kiss her and tell her, it doesn't matter. We can afford to buy 7 cows to get us all the milk that we want now.
100%
Go
not.
get a little.
100%
Yes,
not.
it is the correct answer. That would work on any woman.
His response should be, you know what? Hold on. Side bitch. Can you grab me some milk for my coffee? And we're going to Maui with Dr. Flint.
That's right. Exactly. Because he is generous, because it amplified who he fucking was on the inside, because he was generous when he was poor,
Full
and
circle.
now he's big generous when he's fucking
now he
rich.
can get second side chick.
That's right.
And now he's $1 million.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I'm as clueless right now as I'm talking as you guys are. So there are some discussions
We
that I
have
need to get
spent
updated
a lot
on.
of time together
That's
lately.
the point. I said, so don't you guys know you feel like an outsider right now? I'm sitting there going, I'm trying to connect the dots on this communication.
I'm here every week.
I'm
so
figuring
I know
how long
what's
they've
up.
been dating. I don't know.
That's a good one. Mario, what you got for us?
I don't know.
Another
I'm
single
gonna have to
man
deal
I
with
can
this
help
trauma
find.
later.
Man, I love our crew today, man. We got some good stuff. So
Being the quarter
Holy-
sucking his thumb.
that's
I'm going home to pick up dog shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. It's less dramatic than this podcast. So, all right. So, awesome, man. That was great. That was awesome.
Did I answer your question,
For any
though?
married man listening
Yes.
to me,
Okay.
I'll probably give him the worst advice today. You should treat your wife like a hooker. You should get you a side chick. Yeah, this is like all
Speaking
the
of
worst
that-
advice. My father would never approve of any of this. He's been married to my mother 43 years. He'd be like, boy, what
Yeah,
the hell
but
is
speaking of
this
that,
shit, bro?
what is the oldest capitalist profession in the U.S.?
Prostitution.
Prostitution. Value.
Yeah.
Do you stand? It really was.
Yeah.
No, once again, it's like, I know people are going to be like, no, but it really was a capitalist thing. It's like, yeah. So anyways, actually, does anybody know this? And it's going to sound funny, but let me run on this, okay? For all you over-spiritualized Christians that watch me, just jump off for a second, okay? I'm so thankful for prostitutes,
Okay. Why?
You proceed.
okay? Never had one, never used one, nothing to say. No, because does anybody know No, but does anybody know
A man would.
where?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's just be real as man. You don't get to answer. Okay. Here's what happens. Okay. Do you like when a woman has hairy legs or shaved legs?
Oh.
Shave legs.
Who created that?
Yeah,
Prostitutes
you're right.
did.
You're right. They did.
Prostitutes
They did create
created it.
that.
So I love prostitutes and stuff like that. Now somebody's gonna clip that when I say it that way. I've never had a prostitute, but my point is this.
I'm gonna clip that.
That's right. Yeah, clip that. No, but I think about this. They created shaving the legs and stuff like that. Look at the history. You know, you and I are big history buffs that way. Yes, we have a lot of stupid facts too, but the idea is this. So I
Yeah.
said, so the
That's
oldest
true.
capitalist
That's
profession in the world
true.
led to something that we love every single day. You're gonna take that one now, aren't you? It's like,
It's true.
see, there you go.
For that,
I'm starting
too.
to think more about all the things that strippers and prostitutes have done that have been actually beneficial.
beneficial.
Short skirts,
Yep.
platform high heels,
Yep.
low
Did they
cut
also?
dresses.
Did they also come up with implants? I don't know who did.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm just saying.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so.
If anybody
I would-
knows,
I would-
please put in the comments below.
I would assume that that's
Probably
probably
a man.
was medical stuff. Was probably like a doctor
man.
for a woman.
Some
who had-
cosmetology-based, surgery
Somebody
and
who
stuff
probably
like
had breast cancer. I imagine.
Yep.
Or maybe I'm just trying to be positive.
Trying to be
Yes.
positive.
Why not give them credit if they did?
I
God
mean,
bless
if they
them,
if they
actually.
did,
did,
then
yeah.
definitely get credit. I mean, look, you already know. I am not gonna not give credit where credit is
That's
due
right.
for large breasts, okay? And the parade
I was gonna say when
needs
the
to
parade.
happen.
Whoever invented implants can come to the parade, regardless.
Guest speaker, honorary,
Okay, yes,
honorary,
yes.
honorary
On
on
a
a float.
float. Yes.
First float. The
Biggest,
man.
biggest float.
That's right, a big titty,
Yeah.
a big titty. He right in the front. Nipple is a headline.
Yeah, and you can shoot candy out of it.
That's right. Shoot candy right
Yes.
out of it. That's right.
Two of them.
We
Both sides of the street.
have digressed.
Solving the world's problems, though. I mean,
Yeah, it's like everybody's a win that parade. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna go over and that was a very quick 2 hours almost.
Wow.
You
that
know,
was a very quick.
Isn't that great?
Wow.
I know it just goes by fast. Love the discussions. Love the input. Love the input. Obviously, you wonderful co-hosts. And actually, I gotta stop calling you guys co-hosts. I'm more of a co-host now than all you guys are.
I've been thinking of sitting in that chair and making you sit over here.
Hey, I will take any position I can just because I'm just grateful to be with you, amazing people, all the time and stuff like that. So now what we're gonna do is do some final thoughts. But I want to say, Mara, appreciate you being here. Matt, I appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Love your insight. Love your discussions. Love your agreements, your disagreements, your conversations, stuff like that. Dana, Larry, Lorenzo, guess what happens? You guys are amazing in every single way. I'm actually, but I gotta tell you, I'm actually a little jealous right now
Why?
because your conversations, I'm like, I'm missing out on some shit.
Yeah, no. That also means you clearly haven't been watching.
Yes. No, no,
Oh,
but some of the
right.
dialogue.
It's been on the show.
No.
It's on the show.
been on the show,
These aren't
yeah.
side conversations.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
all
no,
on the show.
I've watched it, but this is not. No, but there's some things in the dynamic that way is definitely there. So I said, so it's kind of great. So I appreciate it. You guys are awesome as always. So we're gonna do some final thoughts. Any comments? Any things you didn't get to say? Anything you want to say? And once again, let people know if you have a website, things like that, where they can find you, stuff like that. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that.
Nothing really to say. I think we covered like everything. I have my own like business, Matt Schmidt Quantum Healing. I also have my own YouTube channel.
Nice.
Where I
What is it?
guide people through their trauma.
Yeah.
No, and everything. So it's Matt Schmidt QH is my handle.
Great.
On everything, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and
Wonderful.
yeah, do a lot of things in the area, but then also kind of around the country. So.
Well, Matt, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Mario.
It was awesome. I had a good time. First podcast I've ever been a part of.
No
So
kidding.
I feel like
Whoa.
Hey,
I feel like I maybe
congratulations. Thanks for
didn't
being
talk
here.
Enough, but no, it's really good. I don't know that we debated a whole lot. I think there was a lot of agreement at the table for the most part. Maybe a little bit of debating, but it was good. All healthy.
I just want to say something on that. Do you know that people that watch us and the people that come here, they sometimes think they're so polar opposite than us, and we sit down and have discussions like that. Do you understand that more people have more commonalities than they ever do? And if you get rid of the exceptions, arguing the exceptions, you're going to find out that most people want to live just a very simple, good life. People don't realize I just want to live a really good, simple life. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of cool. So I'm happy you brought that up because what happens, you find out that it doesn't matter race, sexual orientation, anything like that. You're going to find out that the majority of us have a very common things that we all want to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but once again, Myro, thanks for being here. Thanks for your insight. I appreciate it. I hope you come back too. Maybe be your second podcast or more. Maybe this will stimulate a little bit more. So, but once again, where do you work?
Cross Country Mortgage.
Yeah, I knew that. I just wanted you to say it for everybody that way again. So thanks for being here.
Mario
Appreciate
the
it.
Mortgage Guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mario, love it. The one and only Dana disagrees. Oh, but wait, can you do me a favor before you
Yeah.
have your final thoughts? How's your videos been doing? Share a little bit with
Oh,
everybody.
they're doing really, really great.
Did you get our 10,000 followers and things
I
like
did.
that?
I just 12,000 followers
Congratulations.
off of a new one that just had 2 million views on it. So you better make sure you go watch it. You know what? It's exactly applicable to what we were talking about earlier with the memes and the such.
The memes and the such.
Yeah, when we were talking about blowjobs and money and whatever, and the $5 in the jar and things like that. Yeah, because that whole reel is a clip from a longer form that I did on YouTube that's 20 minutes long, explaining the whole original reel, because you can't possibly convey what you mean in 1 minute without having the entire world pick it apart. So then you do a little longer form of it, and then you go put that out there, and then people are still mad about it. And when you clip some of it and go put that on the Instafuck, is that what it's called now? There you go, I got you.
Instantly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But anyway.
So now final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Well, I wrote down a couple things that I
Good.
didn't get to, so maybe I'll just say them right now.
Absolutely.
I've been sitting with because you said that thing about, okay, who gets to decide?
Yeah.
Right? Because I thought about that with just a lot of things in general. But okay, who does get to decide what's trauma and what's not? And at first, my thought was like, well, I guess society as a whole gets to decide about it, and then I'm like, oh,
Society
damn it, that
changes.
can't be, because they're all fucking wrong.
Yep.
So then I'm thinking about it a little bit more, and I've just been sitting on it for like the last 30 minutes of who got to decide this, and I'm like, okay, well, if a lot of
Flowers or
people
weeds?
think about this, why do a lot of people think like this? Why do a lot of people think that they're all traumatized? Why do people seek out all this help for all this trauma that's happened to them? Where are these ideas even coming from? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's because we're all programmed into that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, all you have to do is be able to like control the media, and then have little snippets of information go into everybody's algorithms and onto bigger news media platforms and things like that, and just start sprinkling things like that in there, and then people start to think it's true, because clearly that happens in our culture. So I don't know who gets to decide. Maybe a couple elite tyrant fucks at the top. I don't know, but it started me thinking about that, and it's like, well, I don't know. It's probably not just the common person. It's probably some kind of programming that's coming, because if we can distract people and make them think that they have problems that they don't actually have, then they're worried about all this nonsense over here, when actual real problems like economy and crime and things like that are happening over here, and then we don't pay attention to them. And then all you different news sources tell us 17 different stories, so that none of us can even put together what's actually going on, because we're all distracted with our non-problems over here. So that's kind of my thought on that. And then we also take all of our traumas to social media as if someone actually cares about us, because social media makes it look like everybody cares about you, because they do the little heart symbols and they do the little caring hugs on your
You can't
posts.
thumbs down people anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't?
Yeah, you can't.
I remember when
Oh,
you used to be able to,
yeah.
like, thumbs down. And
Yep.
You can
say,
still
"I don't
angry
give a
face
shit
people
about
though,
your
right?
problems."
Yeah, you can
Yep.
still angry face people though, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
But an
I
angry
don't
face
know.
doesn't
those
necessarily mean you don't like it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You
What
might
is
like
the
the thing,
what
because
is
you
the
have to
shit
tell
symbol
people.
have a smile on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you have to tell people not to angry face your stuff, even if they're angry about it, because it doesn't help the algorithm. Because if you're making like a good post that like matters, right? That's like the whole vaccine thing. If you're making a good post that matters, and then people angry face it because they're angry about what happened, then
Right.
the algorithm doesn't like it. So you have to tell people not to do that.
Yep.
Just control
All
everywhere.
a distraction.
All of it's a
Money.
distraction.
Yeah, man,
it's just control.
I agree with you on that.
But yeah,
I really do.
that's-
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So yeah, who gets to decide?
I want you guys to think about that though. When I said that, it's like, because I always think about this when we talk about, because remember, owning a big company that way and having HR, but our HR don't run like standard HR that way for all laws and things like that. But we don't break a law because we don't do DEI and all that bullshit. But the idea is this: is like going, I get to set the standard what happens here. I do. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why, once again, it's like, and that's why people are like, I can't believe that things happen like that at the company. That you can be diverse, you can say what you want to say, you can say fucking shit, and you don't have to worry about your manager freaking out and stuff like that. You can have a difference in politics and religion and stuff like that, and as long as there's no forcing. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, because that's the thing. I don't care about those things. Because I'm such a big liberty person that I want to do that. You're not done yet. You still have more in there, I saw.
No,
Open that back
was
up.
the thing.
Oh, I
Turn
thought
off the news. Okay, I guess that's the overarching message. No, that was the thing. And then social media makes it seem like people care. And
Yep.
and then you kind of already touched on this, but then people, they don't want to get rid of their traumas because they have their friend group. But then it becomes part of their identity. So now they can't detach from it because it's literally their identity.
Yep.
That's the only thing I was going to say before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful. Awesome.
True. That's true.
Lorenzo.
I only have to say New episode of Random Radio is up right now at
Nice.
YouTube.
What'd you cover?
BitChute. No, we covered Caitlin Clark because the young Caucasian girl who got the scoring title in the NCAA.
Yep.
And people are trying to tell me it's racist.
No, come on.
Yeah, they're saying it's racist. They're saying that it's white privilege on full display because there are 2 African American women who scored more points in college than her. However, there's a technicality, and I explained the technicality.
What is it?
On the show.
Just quickly, so because I got to watch now too.
Well, there was another group that governed women's sports prior to the NCAA. That group doesn't care for the NCAA because of the contentiousness of they're being defunct.
Yep.
So they don't want to share their stats.
Ew.
So the women, it's true. Yes, 2 black women have it, but it's not racist. It's a technicality between these 2 organizations.
Right.
It literally has nothing to do with race.
Yep.
Because
do you know what's really funny? And this is just my personal thing. We're not done yet. I got an opinion on this one. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
How you can get people to shut up when you don't want to argue a topic is use race,
Yeah.
Yep.
or some political view or this.
Or
But you know,
feminism.
people do this all the time at church. You know how they get you to shut up about arguing about something? Let's say somebody's doing something and they're making a bad choice. They say, "Well, I prayed about it."
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like their way of saying you can't tell them you can pray about it, but you're still a fucking moron.
Right.
Do you see? It's like all of a sudden you go, "Well, that's really stupid." Well, it's racial. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
See, that's the thing. When good people don't say anything, that's when you're just a dumbass. You think it's racial. Well, what is? No, shut the fuck up. You're being dumb.
Right.
You saying? It's like when are we gonna stop letting bad ideas perpetuate?
Well, I found it as a good opportunity to showcase black history excellence from 2 black women who
Right.
did a very good thing. I said, this is a great, I didn't even know these facts. And
Right.
look, somebody taught me something. Look, a racist online taught me about 2 black women during Black History Month. God
Nice.
damn it, racist. Thank you.
Gotta love that.
Well,
Thank you,
Yeah.
You
racist.
should be like Al Sharpton on your podcast then.
Well, it wasn't Al Sharpton. It was somebody else. It was some article that someone had wrote where they were saying how it was racist. And thank them because these are 2 women that I had never heard of. They happen to be African Americans. It's February. Fantastic information. And I could use it next month for Women's History
Yes.
Month.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. Who do you think? I got a question for you guys, and because I want to talk about this stuff now. Okay, here we go. Who do you think cares more about racism, women or men?
Women.
Ugh,
Thank you.
women.
They're women.
They do, because you know what happens. This, you and I have a lot of success. What do we talk? We don't talk about race. We talk about success.
Right.
Men
We
are
talk-
busy working.
That's the point. It's like, but see, it comes back to this way. It's like, because I would look at 3 women that have successful in their careers, and I want to study them and how it does. Because you know something, if you're man or woman, you succeed in any of your life. There's a certain mindset that takes.
Right.
And men constantly focus on that mindset to go, okay, how'd they get there? How'd they get there? See, I'll never watch athletics, but what I'll do is I'll study the athletes.
Right.
I mean, the fact that there was characteristics, there's actions, there's mental aspect, there's things for them to get to that level.
Right.
And there's an element of a natural talented gift. You saying? And so I think studying athletes are fantastic because what it does, watching it, I think I just don't think I want to watch somebody else win. I want to win. When you're watching somebody win, I'm going to win. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, that's a whole other things. And so, but the idea is this, look at how it does. And I think that once again, and yes, if people say, well, some of the biggest people screaming in politics are men about that way. No, but they're you think they're trying to appeal to the woman crowd.
That's right.
Right.
Democrats all try to speak to the woman crowd.
They do.
Yeah, because emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of emotions.
They do.
And effeminate men.
Yes, and that's why it's like, and once again, it's like, and then the people that say we're just going to prop up women in these positions and we're going to look better. Well, no, I don't care if it's a woman or a guy. I'm a business person. I'm going to say who's going to bring the most value to the company.
Well, if the company is Minnesota or the county, what is it, Hennepin County?
Yep.
They have now made all their county seats are 100% all women of diverse backgrounds.
No.
So we should all expect
Good.
for Hennepin County to be bankrupt.
Very soon.
I said,
Very soon.
yeah. You know, it's really funny, and that's why let's go back to Mark Cuban. You're big on DEI, which is no different than trying to make things equal. Is like, then guess what happens? This, if you truly believe that, then guess what happens? This, you would have the worst NBA team in history and stuff like that, and some college team could probably beat them. Even, you know, saying, and that's the thing about it, it's like going, and see, that's what comes down to, and if you are a Packer fan, okay, you still want the best Packer players.
I don't want any Packer players.
Yeah,
If
that's
it-
Well,
it.
yeah, no.
If it was truly equal, none of that shit should matter.
Right.
Like it's really that simple. Like,
Yeah.
Well, if everything was actually truly equal, there would be no entertainment in sports.
Right.
Because everybody,
Right.
the score would always be the same. The outcome would all be the same.
Yeah.
It would be. It'd be
right.
The
that's
plays
the-
wouldn't be
but-
that good, and
No.
like the cheerleaders would
well-
be fat, and
well,
like it just
One team would get a touchdown, and the ref would say,
Oh.
"All right, that team has to get a touchdown
touchdown
too."
too.
Just
Yep.
like- so
Well-
everybody get off the field,
field.
let them throw it to the guy. That's
I know.
it.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
I know. It's really funny. And
Widen the uprights for this guy coming
Yeah,
in.
hey.
Opens the female. Oh, very wide.
Yeah.
we're gonna. I'm gonna show you how I love inequality. Once again, you can clip that too. Okay, I love inequality, and let me
I
explain
love
why.
prostitutes, and I love
Inequality,
Boom,
okay?
Racist.
There you go.
Times
but I want you to think about this, because here's what happens. This is, if you think of it this way, because if inequality actually shows me who's better. Do you know what I'm saying? For example, is like this, because if all of a sudden, would you agree with me, Mario, that you work your ass off for
I do.
things the way? And if somebody, once again, got the same outcome, or let's say that your boss said, okay, we're just gonna, just because of time, we're just going to, because you all been here at the same time, we're just gonna give you guys all the same all the way. But what if you outperform them and you're not equal to that person? Do you want your pay to be the same as the person?
Absolutely not.
So you want inequality.
Correct.
As a capitalist boss, I can honestly tell you, me and Dana, and becoming great friends with her that way, I never thought I was going to do a podcast until Dana, because I needed dynamics of man and woman and great people and stuff of that, and talent and stuff of that. I'm like, okay, guess what? She can hold discussion. Then we met Lorenzo. I'm like, oh my goodness, we have Travis. We have all those dynamics. They're unequal. Do you say? And there is no equality, because that means we could have another woman just because they're a woman be on here, and some Dana next week we're gonna have to just put another woman so she has an opportunity.
Yep.
And
Gotta
all
be
the, and
fair.
all the stuff that you did and worked hard, it made yourself unequal to all those women. They
Yeah.
it's DEI now.
Yep. Well, and that's traumatic, so I'm gonna go cry about it too.
That's right.
So
No, but you think about this. But you really sit back and think. I would love for Mark Cuban, I welcome you here, and say, listen, just stop with your DEI stuff and say, apply that to your players. Do you, Sam?
Yeah.
Apply it to your players.
He should teach it to his players too, so that they all give out their money equitably,
Yeah.
and share with the rest of the society. Like, I'm sure that the people of Dallas would love for Luka Doncic to give just a little bit of his money to them, and it'd be equitable. And he can, some of the other players, maybe they should share their rings too. Like, take those rings off and let us wear them for a day, right? That'd be equitable.
Yeah.
And share that trophy. Bring it to my house. I
Yep.
think it'd look good in my home for a couple of days. I'll give it back once
right.
I'm done with it.
You polish
That'll
it
be
up.
equitable, right?
Yep.
And then Mark Cuban, you have a Rolls Royce. Well, I need to ride to work today. So
Three planes?
Let me fly to Maui for a couple of days on you, because it would be equitable.
Yep.
Right? That'd be the equitable thing to do. Let me, hop on in.
Yep.
And you got your wife. Is she open for the public? Is she for the world? Well, that's equitable too.
That's right.
We all need a ride, baby.
but women
In the
shouldn't
jet.
drive.
In the jet.
But women
They
shouldn't
shouldn't be
drive.
driving.
They shouldn't drive.
Either way, make sure you guys go to Random Radio, Random Things You Need to Know, Facebook.
Instafuck, Snapchat.
Sure, I guess it's
Does
there.
Snapchat even exist anymore?
TikTok.
It still exists.
Does it?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna troll it in one of my upcoming reels.
I heard it's becoming like it's going downhill.
Yeah,
That's the only way kids communicate nowadays.
Yeah.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
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 Because all their
It's crazy.
messages are gone quickly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they
yeah.
can say things like, yeah, show me that thing, and then it'll be gone that quick.
Yes, they're never gone.
Yeah,
What if
my-
I want to see it tomorrow? Right, it's never gone. They don't know that until they get in
Yeah,
trouble.
until you're in
Wait
court
till
and
they-
you're
wait
like,
till they
dang.
get- wait till they have to go to court.
Oh,
for
and then
something.
all of a sudden they pull that and they can get those
Ooh.
records right easy.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
they
they can.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they can. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they can. Well,
Yeah.
either way, check that out. New episode is up. It'll be a new episode all week. We'll have episodes. And then soon we're going to get back to showing you why women should not be driving. But that'll be, we're waiting on that. We're compiling the information. Trust
More
me, there's a lot
information?
of information that proves that women should not be driving.
That being said, Matt, Mario, Dana, Lorenzo, thank you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your insight. Appreciate your time with you guys tonight and everything. Once again, you guys, if you have something that you may disagree on and things like that, send us a message, send us an email. You can send me an email at pflynn@thewellnessway.com, and I can get the message and say, Doc, can we use this statement? I'll give you credit for it, everything like that. So definitely go on there. Dana, you got something to say?
IDP@thewellnessway.com if you want to be on or if you want to see us use any content. IDP@thewellnessway.com is what you
remember,
need to do.
for you guys that are local, and remember, let's say that you totally disagree and you love DEI. We welcome you massively. And here's what happens this. I will tell you this, and I've made this very clear, is anybody that works in my company, you can have a massive array of diversity on everything beliefs, even opposite mine, but you'll still be treated with respect. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that comes here will always be treated with massive respect, and you'll be able to share ideas. None of you guys will ever get overspeaked on. I'll allow you to say everything you possibly can and things like that. So we welcome you guys that want to come on, and I'm hoping once again that you can have some massive opinions, because maybe once again, maybe you believe in DEI massively, and you may be watching this and this may be upsetting you and stuff like that. Then come on, come share. I welcome it with great respect and honor that way. Come on over here, and then we can all sit down. And the cool thing about this, the one thing I do like about media is now, guess what? Let people watch and let them decide. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If it's healthcare and you believe in the vaccine, then guess what happens? There should be no force it. If you really have something great, let the public decide. That's what I said. If it brings value to the world, you don't have to worry about it getting out there. It will find its way. Mm-hmm. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys so much that way. It's great being back. It's great being back. I have some travel yet this month, and like I said, as your co-host here today. So, yes, but the I disagree is not me. The I disagree is an idea, and it can be shared by many people's ideas and things like that. So, all right, guys, we'll see you guys next week. There we are. Great job, guys.